Say Shara, Africa, say it louder. Say Shara, Salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
We stand, we fight, we fall. All we need is freedom. All we need is freedom. Free, free, Africans free.
Free from slavery, free from slavery, free.
Alan Sister Book.
Free, free as a man to slavery. Free, free as a man to slavery. Free, free from slavery. Free from slavery. Yeah.
We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war.
Salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum, salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum, salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum, salam
I know.
alaikum, assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, African woman. You wanna be free? The most simplest one in the world. Get yourself the Baba with a reggae music coming to you from the one of the most peaceful men. So many lie down on the streets. What about them? We are carrying ideas. Get yourself the most free time and preach about freedom. Preach about freedom.
We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war.
Let us look on the street as a lesson, youth. Stop violence as a lesson. You want to listen and be a man. The music we are doing is not a music for fun. We are preaching, hear it loud and clear. Day, night, and day, no sleeping it up. Better preach, let the people hear. Better preach, let the people feel. The sound of freedom and love. The sound of freedom and love. The sound of freedom and love. The sound of freedom and love.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night, viewers of Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. We are live today, Saturday, September 18, 2021, to shed the light on deteriorations of the health condition of Kwel Agurkwel, former governor of Northern Bahr el-Ghazal state, and other issues of concern tonight. تدهور الحالة الصحية لحاكم ولاية شمال بحر الغزال الأسبق كويل أغوركويل وقضايا أخرى ندعوله في هذه المنبر اليوم. أرحب بكم في كل مكان لبرنامجنا الأسبوعي Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. Of course, last week we did not conduct it in a live broadcast لظروف سفر اللي أنا كنت موجود فيه، ولكن أرحب بكم كما تعودناكم دائما بكل جديد ومفيد لأبناء شعبنا، شعب السودان الجنوبي. اليوم كما ترون في تحت الشاشة تدهور الحالة الصحية لحاكم ولاية شمال بحر الغزال الأسبق كويلاغور كويل. موضوع مهم جدا جدا. هنا هنسلط الضوء حول هذا القضية من منطلق الإنسانية، من منظور إنساني نناول القضية، ثم من المنظور القانوني أيضا، ومن منظور حقوق الإنسان. So with that معروفة لديكم كلكم إن كويلاغور كويل هو كان حاكم لولاية شمال بحر الغزال ومتواجد في جوبا، وهو عضو في الحركة الشعبية. is a member of political of SPLM party معروف للجميع. كويلاغور كويل he's a citizen, as far as I know, is a private citizen like any other citizen in the country. He has right under the Constitution of South Sudan 2011 amended in 2015, Article 24, that every citizen have right of assembling, have right of expression. ده كلها حقوق مكفولة في الدستور السودان الجنوبي. لنادى ما عارفين إنه every citizen عنده حق to express himself. لو شايف في حاجة غلط في الدولة، لو شايف في قضايا يتطلب، عندنا الحرية according to the constitution of the country. دستور البلد هو اللي بيقول كده إن أنت كمواطن سوداني جنوبي لك الحق تقول كلمتك، عندك حق تنضم إلى أي political organization، عندك حق إن يكون في assembling you can gather together assembling association، عندك الحق إنه تكتب articles when you disagree with the setting government. ده حقوق مكفولة في القانون جنوب السودان، في دستور السودان الجنوبي، دستور 2011 وتم معادلته في 2015. وزي ما أنا ذكرت article 24 وارتكل 25 بينص على إنه عنده الحق. كويلاغور كويل did not commit any crime what I know so far، كلكم عارفين، وما ارتكب أي جريمة جنائية أو جريمة مدنية. ما في جريمة مدنية، ما في جريمة جنائية، ده المعروفة. لأنه لو أي شخص ارتكب جريمة جنائية and then برضو بودوه لوين يتم قبضه. لو أنت ارتكبت جريمة جنائية which is criminal crime, because there is two different things here, criminal crime and a civil crime. Criminal crime is always severe, very severe. لأن أنت ارتكبت جريمة جنائية فالسلطات بيقبضوك وبودوك الحراسة. ولكن الدستور also كفل على إنك أنت لو تم القبض عليك عشان أنت مرتكب جريمة لابد من مسؤول أمام القاضي within 48 hours، من خلال 48 ساعة لازم يتم يجيبوك في شنو أمام القضاء عشان يعرف جريمتك شنو وليه ارتكبت جريمة، يتم محاكمتك على الأقل. قانون جنوب السودان بيقول كده، دستور البلد بيقول كده. اوكي. اما الجريمه المدنيه زي ما انا قلت ده قضايا بتاعت طلاق، قضايا بتاعت ارض، قضايا بتاعت قروش، قضايا ده ما قضيه قتل. اما حتى ولو كان قضيه قتل زي ما انا قلت بيجيبوك في شنو امام القضاء within 48 hours. القانون بيقول كلام ده. هل كويلاغور كويل الحاكم السابق لولايه بحر الغزال شمال بحر الغزال ارتكب الجريمه؟ ده السؤال نحن المفروض نساله كالسودانيين الجنوبيين. كل واحد بيسأل نفسه السؤال ده، هل هو ارتكب جريمة جنائية، جريمة مدنية، يا جريمة هو ارتكبه عشان يتم يعني ديتنشن بتاعه، يا جريمة ارتكبه. لنادى اللي بيقولوا، وانا سمعت قبل فترة سين عبد الباقي، السيد سين عبد الباقي اللي كان بيتكلم معانا هنا في السوشيال ميديا، اللي كان بيقول سلفا كير must go. But now He's sitting close to J1. He's getting what he needs, and he's no longer, on a position that to say there is something wrong in this country. So أي جريمة ما ارتكبه السيد الحاكم السابق لولاية شمال بحر الغزال. ده السؤال نحن المفروض أسأل أنفسنا. هنا بس ما يخمونا ساكت كده يقول يا أخي أنتوا عارفين كل أقول قبضوا ليه وهو قال شنو؟ يس زي ما أنا ذكرت قبل القانون بتاع جنوب السودان، القانون بتاع السودان الجنوبي بينص على إنه أي مواطن له الحق إنه يتكلم. أنت عندك الحق تتكلم، عندك الحق to assemble، عندك الحق تسافر، عندك الحق for a movement to go around. الحق اللي ما عندك ترتكب جريمة. لو ارتكبت جريمة طبعا دي حاجة تانية. عشان كده أنا بسأل السؤال ده، أي جريمة ما ارتكبه الحاكم السابق لولاية شمال بحر الغزال؟ ما فيش، لأن الدستور كفل على إنك تتكلم. وأنا حدثناكم تكرارا ومرارا إن دولتنا الحاكمين فيها الرئيس الحاكم فيه هو ديكتاتور simply. لأن إذا كان الدستور بينص على إنك you have right of expression, you have right of assembling, you have right of being in any political organization, you have right of movement, then when you speak about things that are going wrong in the country and then you get arrested, and you are not being brought to the court of law عشان يعرف قضيتك شنو. What does that mean? It's a question that we are asking. What does that mean? حتى الناس ذاته يعني supporters بتاع النظام what does that mean؟ إذا كان أنت الدستور نصت على إنك عندك الحق تتكلم، عندك الحق to assemble، عندك الحق for association، ويتم قبض عليك لأنك أنت you raise a concern as a private citizen, you raise a concern, there's something wrong، بلد ماشي غلط، والغلط ده لازم must be corrected. يتم قبضك وما يمثلوك أمام المحاكم، ما يجيبوك للقاضي وتكون تحت detention. ده سؤال أي مواطن سوداني جنوبي يسأل نفسه يا جماعة، لأن احنا ما عايزين بس يخمونا ساكت ويقول لنا يا أخي الزول ضد الحكومة كيف يعني؟ وحتى ولو كان ضد الحكومة عنده الحق. القانون الدولي اللي احنا مضينا فيها انه دولتنا السودان الجنوبي انه will not violate، ما ينتهك حق الانسان ايا كان انسان سوداني جنوبي او انسان اجنبي عايش في جنوب السودان. We cannot violate their rights. We are a member of international community. هنا مضينا انه we will not violate any human rights. Okay. Now القانون الدولي بيرفض الآمال دي. And you cannot violate anyone's right. You cannot violate anyone's right. فيصح الكلام ده يا إخوة المشاهدين اليوم؟ طبعا دايما when we let things go, things will continue. في ناس ثانيين كلموا كتير دايما بيقولوا يا أخي it may not be you today. It may be somebody else. But tomorrow it will be your relative. And after tomorrow you will say, no, it's not me. As long as it's not me, it's not my concern. But after tomorrow, it will be your cousin. And it will continue if we allow such a thing to happen. And that's why we have keep talking. We've been talking about this. إنه يا جماعة الوضع ده لابد إنه يكون في يقظة في البلد. Awakening, because Salva Kiir continue to violate South Sudanese rights. Salva Kiir continue to loot the nation. Salva Kiir continue to do what is serving his own interest, not the interest of the people of South Sudan. عشان كده أنا سألت السؤال ده، والسؤال ده مهم اليوم. ما هي الجريمة التي ارتكبها الحاكم السابق لولاية شمال بحر الغزال؟ قطعا ما في جريمة ارتكبه، ولكن عشان الدكتاتور لا يريد على أي حد أي كان حاكم سابق أو وزير سابق أو مواطن برايفت إنه يتحدث عن أمور الدولة وإن كان أشياء ماشية غلط في البلد. فده السؤال بيسأل نفسه الناس اللي بيقولوا لا we are okay, we are fine, we are not fine. من منطلق إنسان اليوم يا إخوة المشاهدين الكرام، أنتوا سمعتوا بنت الحاكم السابق لولاية شمال بحر الغزال Kwelagur Kwel. I'm at a live show last night. I'm at a live video. And my father health deteriorated. His health condition deteriorated. And that required إن هو يطلع على الأقل يكون في علاج. يشيلوا المستشفى على الأقل. هل السلطات بتعمل كلام دي؟ لا طبعا. She's asking, appealing to authorities. إنه أبوي ما يرتكب أي جريمة. ما يرتكب أي جريمة. يا أخي أسمح الله له إنه يتعالج. فقط إنه هو يتعالج. لكن طبعا of course Salva Udnenu Assam when it comes to the right of people. Udnu Assam when it comes to the right of the people. It will not accept such a thing. فعشان كده الكلام ده بنوجهه لك كمواطن سوداني جنوبي غيور. هل أنت better off with the situation that we are in right now? If this is South Sudan that you have been dreamed of, are we better off with the dictator, with the dictator? Are we better off with someone that violates the right of citizen? That's the question that you must ask yourself. Sometimes we have been labeled as rubbish, as people who are talking nonsense, that they don't know what they're doing. But look what happened today. So Kwelagur, from humanity perspective, he deserved to be free. He deserved to be treated. He deserved medical treatment. He does deserve medical treatment. I said, Gibel, it may not happen, it may not be you today. It may be somebody else. But tomorrow, it's going to be you. What are you going to do then? What are you going to do? And then نتفرج ونعاين هتتفرج وتعاين لما نكون أمك لما نكون أخوك لما نكون أختك أتعاين لا طبعا. And that's why we have been calling for fairness and justice for all. ده ما كلام من فراغ يا إخوة المشاهدين الكرام. Because we have seen, and this regime has proven over and over again that actually they don't care. And they will not allow anyone to speak up. And they will not allow any development in the country. They will not allow any process, any good thing for the people of South Sudan. عشان كده أنا قلت لكم كويل deserve medical treatment. إحنا سمعنا مبارك من بنته إنه عنده سكري. He has diabetes. He's a diabetic. He has a high blood pressure. He has so many health complications that actually require a treatment. Now, Raja left in detention and he's suffering. And he's suffering severely. If he died, like what his daughter has said, who has to be blamed here? If he died, what's going to happen? If he dies, what's going to happen? Now we tend to ignore things. We tend to ignore things that are happening. And we should not be ignoring things that are happening. As I said, it can happen to someone else today, and tomorrow will happen to you. This is not a laughable matter. Kwelagur is in serious health condition that require a medical treatment, like it's self-acute, because it has no heart for anyone. It has no heart for anyone. As long as you are talking about any development in the country, as long as you are talking about the services in the country, you are his first enemy. And that's why Kwelagur today is the first enemy. But you, my brother and sister, you, what can you say about this? Should you be just watching? كلام ده أنا ما بوجهه لزول معين، أنا بوجهه لأي سوداني جنوبي غيور من هذا المنطلق. إنه القضية ده قضياتنا كلنا. ده ما قضية كويلاغور، ما قضية بتاع فاميلي بتاع كويلاغور، ما قضية بتاع ناس نوردن بحر الغزال، ده قضياتنا كلنا قوميا. ولكن برضو I have to address those of northern Bahar al-Ghazal people who tend not to care actually. So are you better off in Kwelagur, you moved in Sijin, went to Saknin? كل المجتمع يكون ساكت، كل رؤساء الكوميونتي يكون ساكتين، سلاطين يكونوا ساكتين. They don't even care. Is that South Sudan that we want? ده من اجل انه يكون في كوميونتي. هل كوميونتي لما يكون في حاجات بطال بتحصل في البلد هي بتسكت بس كده يقول خلاص oh well because he talk about the issue that are concern of the people I don't care? Is that what it is? So are we okay لما زول يكون في power، لما زول يكون معانا يضحك معانا، ولما يكون في مصيبه حصل للزول we should just distance ourselves, you know, stay far. كلام ده انا بوجهه لابناء شمال بحر الغزال particularly because Kwelagur, it was there for you. He was there for you. And even came here to United States, and many people, you know, have met him. And he supported communities. Today, Kwelagur became on his own. It became on its own. And I haven't seen and I haven't heard anyone from the community, from that region saying anything. Just standing up, saying anything. Just saying that this is wrong and this must stop. They are not saying anything. So we are happy, you know, when someone is there with us. But when someone has a situation, you don't care. That's what it is. Can into Salatin Tamadingawul, wala can into Rwasa community Madingawul, wala can whatever you call Madingawul, wala can into retired politician Madingawul. So this matter is, it doesn't mean you. So it means we are just people with no value. Because if you don't value a member of your community, if you don't value someone who stood for you, and then what does that mean to you? What value do you represent then? Then you don't represent any value. Lama taku raise the community and something bad really happening to member of your community. Okay, lama tabga sultan and something really bad happened to member of your community, like Kwelagur Kwel, and you don't even speak up. You don't even raise a voice. What does that mean to you? What are you representing then? What value do you really bring? It's just yourself to be there. If that's what you can bring, I should say shame, and shame on you. Into the Sultan, into the Rais community, whether Juwe in Akfil Belet, whether outside in diaspora, shame on you. Because Kwelagur Kwel is a member of your community. Kwelagur Kwel is a citizen of South Sudan. He is a citizen of South Sudan. Something bad happening to him today because he stood up for the wrong thing that had happening in the country, and you don't want to say anything. That means that you are complicit. That means that actually you are happy with bad things that are happening in our country. Tomorrow, it might happen to you. If you don't realize that, tomorrow such a thing might happen to you. And that's why I'm saying that you need to wake up. We need to have that conscience. You need to have that conscience. He's exercising his rights under the Constitution of South Sudan, Article 24. He has a right of us, you know, expressing himself. He has a right of assembling. He has a right of movement. He has a right. All these are right. And you cannot tell me that he has done something wrong. Nothing wrong he has done. To be arrested and denied a medical treatment while he's going under a severe medical condition. And everyone else in the country is quiet. Quiet. What a shame. What a shame. What a shame and what a shame. We wanted to do business with someone when he's healthy and he's okay and he has no threat. So I don't know how to describe that. That's like animal behavior. That's what it is. Because when a danger comes to one of their group, they tend to be watching, but not rescuing the situation and finding a way, you know, finding a way. Even some animals, you know, they will just cry. They will cry. You see a dog, if you attack one of their, you know, family member, they will bark. At least. But look what's happening. the situation that Kwelagor is happening. And those politicians are just silent, like nothing happened. Wala Abdul Baga yi. Eji gule yake into asa gandit kalam into arfin Kwelagor garchunu. Into arfin Kwelagor galchunu shankide gabado galchunu. Tell me, Sen Abdul Baga Kwelagor galchunu. Tell me, Mr. Vice President. And into kunta bitikalam maana yamman innu Kir did this and did this and did this. But now because you are having position, you know, enjoying the dollars coming out from the oil money, you are denying any wrong thing that are happening in the country. Just, I want you to prove to me the wrongdo, something wrong that Kwelagor has done. Just tell me. What did he violate it? Tell me that he violated the constitution. Tell me that he violated anything, treason or khiyana with the dawla. What did he do? Just prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. And prove those of us who are speaking here tonight wrong. That actually we have done something wrong. You know? What have we done? What have you done wrong? What have you done wrong under the law and constitution of South Sudan? Just tell me what have you done. Shame on you, Hussein Abdul Baga. Shame on you. Well, I did not know that you were looking for a position, but now you got what you need, and then you don't care. Shame. And that's why we have huge mistrust in our country. Even the ordinary citizen, sometimes, you know, if a group of intellectuals wanted to do something, they tend to be skeptical because of this such of behaviors. You are outside, you say something, but you are inside, you are a different person. Shame on you, Hussein Abdul Baga. You should have been the one that raised your voice and concerned about Kwelagor Kwel. I don't have that great attach to Kwelagor Kwel, but when I see something wrong, I will not accept, because he's a citizen. He's my fellow countryman, whether he's from Northern Barghazal or from Northern Upper Nile or from Eastern Equatoria or from Jungule. I don't care. As long as you are South Sudanese and something wrong happening, I will not keep quiet. I will not. But shame on you, Hussein. And those who are supporting you, they should be shamed as well. And those who are supporting crooks, politicians, they should be shamed. Because this is not South Sudan that we dream of. This is not South Sudan that we know. This is something else. The South Sudan that we dream of, South Sudan that you can express yourself as stated in the constitution of the country. South Sudan that we are all equal before the law. South Sudan that is just for every citizen. South Sudan that fair to all people. That's South Sudan that we know. But I'm so sorry to my country men and country women for all this happening. It is so shame, but no one is going to liberate us from this except us. We must act, put our act together. Because Salva Kiir doesn't believe in fairness, doesn't believe in democracy. He believes in himself. And I said this numerous times, that the man is loyal to himself. He's not loyal to anyone. He's loyal to himself. As long as you are talking about something that actually will bring fairness and change to the people of South Sudan, you are his first enemy. So Nas, you know, Sudan, they need to understand that if Kwelagor die, in that detention, it's Salva Kiir Mayardit. He is. Because he's intended for him to die, to scare other people, because he has been using fear-mongering. That's what he has been using for a very long time. He created intercommunal conflicts so people can fight. You are always worried about your life, well-being. That's what he has done. So now, if some politicians are raising their voices and they start speaking up, why not? This is a strategy Salva Kiir is using now. Just to deny someone from medical treatment, to die. And then later said, oh, well, he died from diabetes or high blood pressure or, you know, medical complication. But the intention was to let him die without the treatment. So others can fear. That's the strategy. That is the strategy. I shan't get into a Sudanese Junubin. You must realize this and know that if Kwelagor die on that detention, it's Salva Kiir plan. And this is what he has been planning. This is what he has been planning in the country, to kill every citizen that raise their voices. It's so a shame for the community leaders. It's so a shame for those former ministers and those communities who are there in Juba. It's a shame not to speak up for this horrific act that president is doing. If Kulago die, it's Salva Kiir Mayar. He's the one that killed him. And I said this, and his daughter said that yesterday. And you need to be aware of that. So with that, I would like to bring Ustaz Walkadab Al-Kabir, Ustaz Dengir Ayok, to have a say on this conversation. Ustaz Dengir Ayok, welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. It's good to see you, dear brother, as we continue with the topic, deterioration of health condition of Kwelagur Kwel, former governor of Northern Bahr al-Ghazal State. تدهور الحالة الصحية لحاكم ولاية شمال بحر الغزال الأسبق كويلاغور كويل. Ustaz Dengir, welcome, and please, I may give you the floor. Go ahead.
Thank you, Ustaz Jonkur, for the chance. I greet you and I greet all the audience. Allow me to say or to convey my message in Arabic. I want to use Arabic today.
Absolutely.
اسمحوا لي أنا أتكلم باللغة العربية. أنا عايز أوصل الرسالة بتاعتي بالعربي.
نعم.
الكلام بالإنجليزي كل مرة قاعد يكون كتير، لكن المرة ده أنا حابب أقول كلام بالإنجليزي، وكلامه هيكون في شكل نقاط. فأنا بحيي كل الناس المتابعين هذا البرنامج في كل مكان اللي هم بيتابعوا فوقه، وبنشكرهم على اهتمامهم بهذه الحلقة، لأنه هذه الحلقة بتناقش قضية مهمة جدا، وهي قضية تدهور الحالة الصحية للحاكم الأسبق لولاية شمال بحر الغزال الأستاذ كويل أغوير كويل. أنا هبدأ أتكلم عن شخصية بتاع الأستاذ كويل أغوير، وبقوله بشكل موجز. أنا عايز نقول للناس يا جماعة إنه كويل أغوير كويل في المقام الأول هو إنسان.
نعم.
والإنسان في الأديان السماوية، الإنسان ده صورة بتاع ربنا. يعني الناس المسيحيين الإنسان ده صورة بتاع ربنا، لأنه المسيحية بقول إنه الله خلق الإنسان على صورته.
نعم.
وكذلك في الإسلام كمان يقول لك إنه يعني الإنسان ده الإنسان ده واحد من الإنسان دي واحد من الخلائق اللي ربنا أكرمه وميزه عن بقية الكائنات أو بقية الخلق. كويس. إذن بنقول كده إنه الأستاذ كويل أغوير كويل هو إنسان. يعني عايزين نقول شنو بالكلام ده؟ عايزين نقول إنه لطالما هو إنه هو إنسان، إذن هو بيستحق كل ما يستحقه الإنسان في المعاملة وفي النظر له، وفي حتى لو في حاجة الحكومة دي بتعتقد إنه زول ده عمله كحاجة غلط، ما ممكن يصل للدرجة بتاعت إنه الزول الحالة بتاعته الصحية تتدهور، ويعني الناس يظلوا يعني معتقلينه ويكون قاعد في سجن وما يخلوه يطلع، وعشان ما إنه يتحصل على الخدمات الصحية، عشان ما إنه هو يشفى. والكلام ده نحن في هذا المنبر بندين المعاملة ده، ونقول إنه هذه المعاملة معاملة غير إنسانية، وبنضيف الصوت بتاعنا لصوت بتاع بنته اللي اتكلمت قبل كم يوم، بنته أتاب، في إدانة لما حدث أو لما يحدث للحاكم الأسبق. إذن كويل أغوير كويل في المقام الأول هو إنسان، وكإنسان له قيمة بتاعته كإنسان، ويجب أن يعامل كإنسان، ولكن هذا لم يحدث. كويس. والوضع اللي هو فوق ده وضع إنساني بيتطلب إنه الحكومة يعني تتغاضى أو تصرف النظر عن القضية السياسية اللي أدى إلى اعتقاله واحتجازه في معتقل الأمن الوطني، ثم نقله من المعتقل بتاع الأمن الوطني للسجن المركزي أو اللي بيسموه سنترال بريزن. كويس. ده ما يكون كده. ده الحاجة نحن بنقوله. كويس. المعاملة ما يكون بشكل اللي نحن شفناه ده الشيء نحن دايرين نقوله. الشيء الثاني، الأستاذ كويل أقول كويل يعني هو قيمة كإنسان له قيمة. الشيء الثاني هو مثقف، هو شخص مثقف، وفي أي بلد الإنسان المثقف قاعد يكون قيمة في البلد، لأنه عقله ده البلد بيستفيد منه، القدرات اللي عنده البلد بيستفيد منه، العلم اللي عنده ده البلد بيستفيد منه. ولكن للأسف نحن في بلد لا يحترم فيه المتعلمين والمثقفين، ولا يستقل فيه المقدرات أو المؤهلات بتاعت الناس المثقفين. وده من الأمور المؤسفة جدا جدا. إذن بنقول لكل الناس اللي بيتابعوا إنه كويل أقول كويل فوق لأنه هو إنسان، هو عنده قيمة بتاعته كإنسان مثقف، ويجب أن يحترم هذه القيمة، قيمة إنه هو مثقف، لأنه الإنسان المثقف عنده القيمة بتاعته في المجتمع وعنده المكانة بتاعته في المجتمع. ثالثا، هذا الرجل هو سياسي ومناضل من المناضلين، يعني اللي كان لهم الكلمة في إنه البلد ده يطلع ويكون في المكان اللي هو موجود فوق الليلة. كويس. فهو كادر سياسي، وهو رجل إداري صارم ورجل إصلاحي. يعني لما مالون شالوه في 2014، مالون أول لما كان حاكم بتاع ولاية شمال بحر غزال وترك الولاية عشان ما يدافع عن حكومة الرئيس الفقير في ذلك الوقت، كويل أقوير كويل هو اللي حل في مكانه. كويس. بعد الانقلاب الجامبيو مدير الشرطة في الولاية الراحلة كودين، كويل أقوير كويل هو الإنسان اللي مسك الولاية، وفي زمن وجيز جدا استطاع إنه يقوم بإصلاحات في الولاية، والولاية في ذلك الوقت كان بعمها الفوضى، فقدر يعمل إصلاح وقدر يعني ينفذ أجندة بتاعت زول قلبه على وطن في زمن قصير جدا. وللأسف يعني الكلام ده الحكومة الموجودة في جوبا الليلة نسى الكلام ده. كويس. وعشان إنه هو زول مصلح وقام بعملية بتاعت إصلاح إداري وإصلاح سياسي في ولاية كانت مليئة بالفساد، وفي ولاية الإيرادات بتاع الدولة بتمشي لجيوب الناس، استطاع هذا الرجل أن يقوم بعملية الإصلاح في الولاية، وأن يرد يعني أموال اللي كان بيمشي لجيوب الناس إلى خزينة الدولة. لكن طبعا هذه الحكومة الموجودة عندنا في جوبا دي حكومة فاسدة، وحكومة بيشجع الناس الفاسدين. لما يجي زول شغال شغل كويس ما بخلوه يقعد كتير. لذلك كويل أقول كويل في زمنه ما قعد كتير، جاء شالوه فقام رجع للأمانة العامة للحركة الشعبية في جوبا. ده تاريخ بتاع هذا الرجل. لما رجع للأمانة العامة من 2014 ظل موجود هناك، وإلى أن شنو؟ إلى أن يعني اتضح له الحاجة اللي اتضح له، لأنه قضى سنوات كثيرة جدا وهو بيتابع الأوضاع العامة وبيشوف التدهور بتاع الأوضاع، سواء كان الوضع الاقتصادي ولا الوضع بتاع الخدمات للمواطنين ولا الناحية بتاع الاستقرار ولا الناحية بتاع السياسة الخارجية ولا الناحية بتاع تطور البلد من حيث إنه يكون في برنامج الحكومة يقدر يقوم به. فعبر السنوات هذا الرجل شاف الحاجات دي، ولذلك قرر إنه يمارس الحق بتاعته كمواطن في البلد، يمارس الحق بتاعته في إنه شنو؟ يعبر عن رأيه.
نعم.
والتعبير عن الرأي في ظل حكومة بتاعت جوبا بيعتبروه جريمة. هذا الرجل ما عمليه جريمة، لكن حكومة جوبا الزول اللي بيتكلم ده زول اللي بيشوف إنه هذا الإنسان ده إنسان يعني مجرم كويس. فالجريمة بتاعت كويل أقور كويل عشان بس إنه هو يتكلم إنه البلد فشل. وبعدين في ازدواجية بتاعت المعايير في المسألة ده. أنا بقول في ازدواجية ليه؟ لأنه كوال منيان جو ودانيال وين أكود يتكلموا عن إنه في فشل بتاعت قيادة، وقالوا إنه القليل الشيء البسيط اللي تركوا الحرب أن إحنا جينا دمرناه. ده الكلام اللي هم قالوا كويس. وقال قام فات من جوبا مشى قاعد في بور، الرئيس أصابه الذعر والهلع.
نعم.
ومشى وراه في مدينة بتاعت بور ومشى قاعد يأنس فوقه وجابه راجع لجوبا. لما كويل أقور كويل كزول عضو في الحركة الشعبية بدأ يتكلم عن الفشل وعن إنه لابد يكون في تغيير في البلد عشان مع البلد يرجعوه للمكان الصحيح، تم اعتقاله. وده الازدواجية في المعايير هنا. لماذا لم يعتقل الرئيس الجنرال كول مانيانجو؟ لماذا لم يعتقل الرئيس الجنرال دانيال ويناكو؟ هذه ازدواجية في المعايير، إنك تعتقل زول ده عشان يتكلم وتخلي زول ده. ما ده نفس الكلام اللي هم قالوا ده. هم أعضاء في الحركة الشعبية وأقروا بأنهم كحركة شعبية فشلوا وشالوا البلد للحرب وقتلوا الناس ونهبوا أموال الناس كويس. فدي ازدواجية في المعايير، والازدواجية في المعايير ده بيرجع البلد لورا، ونحن ضده ونحن من دين هذا. ده يعني حاجة الناس يعرفوا من النهار ده كويس. نحن بنقول إنه كويل أقور كويل لم يرتكب أي جريمة، لأنه العملية بتاعت حرية التعبير مكفول في الدستور. وانت قبل أشرت المادة الموجود في الدستور، المادة 24 بيقول إنه الناس عندهم الحق بتاع إنهم يعبروا عن الرأي بتاعهم. فنحن موجودين في الدولة يعني ممكن نسميه دولة بتاع تكميم الأفواه، دولة بيعاد فوقه الكلام الصحفي لو كتب ده طوالي يطلعوه مجرم، الناشط السياسي لما يتكلم يطلعوه مجرم، زول زي كويل أقور لما يتكلم يطلعوه مجرم ويتم اعتقاله ويعيش في معتقل في ظروف صحية صعبة جدا، والناس ما تحن له ولا يخلوه شنو يقدر يتعالج. ونحن من خلال المنبر بندين بأشد الإبعارات هذه المعاملة القاسية، هذه المعاملة اللا إنسانية كويس. ونحن بنقول إنه هذا الرجل كويس لو حصل له حاجة داخل المعتقل، لأنه في صور منتشرة
نعم
في السوشيال ميديا هنا، الراجل اللي مركبين له ضريب وقاعد كده مستلقي وحالة بتاعه يحنن، حالة تعبانة جدا، ورغم ده هم ما دايرين يخلوه يطلع عشان ما يقدر يتعالج. سياسيا برضو ما عايزين يقدموا لمحاكمة، لا عايز تحاكمه ولا عايز تطلق سراحه، لا عايز تخليه انه يتحصل على الخدمات الصحية. طيب انت عايز تعمل بيه شنو؟ ده تقتله صح؟ ده الواضح، ده الحاجة نحن بنفهمه من المعاملة ده. ليه؟ لأنه ما عايز تفكه وما عايز تحاكمه،
ما عايز
وانت ما عايز، والحالة بتاعته الصحية قاعد تتدهور، وانت ما عايز تخليه انه يمشي للطبيب بتاعه ويقدر ياخذ العلاجات. اذا الرساله بتاعت الحكومه الداير يرسل للناس ده شنو؟ الرساله الحكومه عايز يرسلها انه انا هخليه قاعد زي ده لحد ما يموت. وصدقوني الزول ده لو حصل له حاجه احنا بنصلي انه يطلع بالسلامه، ولو حصل له حاجه ده الرحيل بتاع هذا النظام، ده هيكون ثوره شعبيه والرحيل هذا النظام. كفاكم، انتوا قتلتوا ناس كثير، قتلتوا دون سامويل ويك، قتلتوا اجري اسبوني ادري، قتلتوا بيتر عبد الرحمن سولي، قتلتوا كربينو ولا وقتلتوا ناس ثانيين كتار ما بنقدر نحسبهم. وهسه ده انتوا دايرين تقتلوا الزول ده. فعشان احنا بنقولوا يا حكومه في جوبا الزول ده لو حصل له حاجه انتوا هتكونوا مسؤولين وهتدفعوا ثمن يعني انتوا ما عرفتوا في الدنيا ده. فده الرساله اللي احنا بنرسله للحكومه في جوبا ولكل المتخاذلين ولكل الناس اللي قاعدين يخونوا الاراده بتاع الشعب، ولكل الناس اللي عاملين فيه انه هم الحكومه وانهم هم السلطه وانهم الناس اللي بيعتقلوا الناس ويسجنوا الناس ويمارسوا تكميم الافواه في الدوله. احدكم ده الاحد بتاعكم ده احد بتاع الظلم واحد بتاع تكميم الافواه واحد بتاع اللا انسانيه شفناه ده انتوا قاعدين تمارسوا في كل عقر كل. هذا الاحد سياتي الى نهايته قريبا، وهذا الشعب هيثور ضدكم وانتوا هتمشوا مزبله التاريخ كويس، والويل هيكون لكم دون فرس. ده الرساله نحن بنقدمه لكم. الرساله الثانيه نحن بدنا نقدمه لكم انه اطلقوا سراحه فورا، اطلقوا سراحه عشان ما هو يقدر يتعالج، لانه الوضع اللي هو موجود فوق ده وضع ما مقبول.
نعم.
انتوا بتصرفكم ده اجبرتوا الاسره بتاعته ما كانوا عايزين يتكلموا، لكن الخلام يتكلموا لانه الحاله الصحيه بتاعته قاعد يتدهور. عشان كده شفنا بنته قبل كم يوم وكانت قاعده تتحدث وتتكلم وبتبكي، يعني الحديث بتاع البنت كان اصلا كان بكاء كويس، والحديث بتاعه يتبين فيها انه هي فقدت الثقه حتى في الحكومه، لكن كان الثقه بتاعه في شعب اكبر. اذا هذا شعب هو لشعب اللي نحن بنقدم له رساله انه اقيفوا مع كويل اكبر كويل، وبنشيد بكل النشطاء الموجودين في السوشيال ميديا على اهتمامهم بهذه القضيه والمقالات اللي كتبت في السوشيال ميديا والهاشتاج الماشي انه فري كويل اكبر كويل. نحن بنشيد بكل النشطاء ونقول خلوا الحمله دي يمشي لقدام، ونحن كلنا نطلع في احتجاجات. الناس اللي قاعدين في اماكنهم المختلفه يطلعوا كويس وغودوا الحمله دي في العصافير، ولا بد انه هذا الرجل يتم اطلاق سراحه عشان ما يتعالج كويس. هو انسان ولا بد الانسانيه بتاعته يحترموه. احنا بلد قاتلنا من اجل الانسانيه بتاعتنا، الليله جايين نحين الانسانيه. نحن الشعب قاتلنا من 55 كويس ل 72 وثاني 83 ل 2005 من اجل الكرامه بتاعت الانسان. الليله الكرامه بتاع الانسان بيداس في شخصيه بتاعت كويل اكبر. الليله الكرامه بتاع الانسان بيدوسوا في الواطه في شخصيه بتاعت كثير من ابناء الوطن اللي ماتوا. ونحن هنا بنقول كفايه الكلام ده لازم يقيف كويس. ولو انتم ما عايزين توقفوا كناس في حكومه ان احنا هنوقف الفوضى، هنضع حد لهذه الفوضى، لانه نحن ما شاكلنا عشان يجي يكون في دوله بتاعت فوضى، دوله ما عايزين الناس يتكلموا فوقه، دوله في جزء من الناس بيتكلموا ويخلوهم ويجروا وراهم يمشي يجيبوهم كويس. وفي دوله بتاع انه في ناس ثانيين بيدخلوهم سجون ويخلوهم قاعدين زي ده لحد ما هم يموتوا. يعني احنا ما دايرين دولة زي ده كويس. وكده كل من يتكلم كان قاعد يمارس حق بتاعه في الحرية بتاع التعبير ولم يتم اعتقاله. وكده دانيال وين اكورد كان بيتكلم كان قاعد يمارس الحرية بتاع التعبير بتاعته كناس سياسيين وشايفين في غلط في البلد. نفس حاجة كويل عمله. فلماذا الاعتقال بتاعته؟ ولماذا هذه المعاملة غير الإنسانية؟ انتوا يعني تحاصروا زول بموت من اي اتجاه. ليه انتوا تعملوا الكلام زي ده؟ الزول ده لو مات ده هيكون نهايتكم. نكون واضح معكم، الزول ده لو مات ده هيكون نهاية بتاعتكم، لانه انتوا هيكون قتلتوه عمدا. عملتوا كده واضح شديد. نعم. شغل واضح ما داير له تفسير ولا داير له درس عصر كويس. انه نحن محتجزين كده لحد ما يموت. ده الحاجه الحاصل. ولو حصل له حاجه انا بعدكم انه ده هيكون النهايه بتاعتكم. انا داير ندعو كل شعب انه يقفوا مع كويل اكبر كويل، لانه نحن في جنوب السودان ما نكون يا جماعه ناس يعني بيتعاملوا مع القضايا بانتقائيه. انه الليله قضيه بتاعت كويل اكبر كويل تسكت، لكن لما نيجي قضيه بتاعت اخوك بكره انت تبدا تتكلم. فنحن ما نتكلم لما شنو المشاكل يوصل للبيت بتاعنا بعد كده نبدا نتكلم. خلونا نتكلم حتى لو المشاكل ما وصل جوا الباب بتاعنا كويس. وانا كثير قاعد اقتبس الكلام بتاع القسيس المسيحي اللوثري اللي كان قاعد يقول انه يعني لما هم جو التريد يونيونيست قال انا ما اتكلمت لانه انا اصلا ما زول بتاع التريد يونيون. وقام جو لليهود عشان يقتلوهم وانا ما اتكلمت لانه ما كنت يهودي. وقام جو للشيوعيين عشان يقتلوهم قال وانا ما اتكلمت لانه انا ما كنت شيوعي. قال لكن من هم جوني انا ما في ذول فضل تاني عشان يتكلم ويدافع عني. يس الكلام ده انتوا لازم تفهموا كويس يا اخواننا الجنوبيين كويس. كربينو مات ونحن سكتنا. بيتر عبد الرحمن سولي مات سكتنا. دوم سامويل واق مات الناس سكتوا. اجريس بوني مات ناس سكتوا. بكره وكده الموت ده يجيك انت ما هيكون في زول يتكلم، لانه ما هيكون في زول تاني قاعد. فانتوا يا ساوث سودانيس الرساله بتاعنا انه ما تتكلم لو المشكله يوصل باب بيتك. اتكلم حتى لو بعيد منك، لانه حاجه اللي بيحبش كويل اقول كويل ده ممكن بيجيك بكره. حاجه اللي قاعد يقتل ناس المرفعين اللي قاعد ياكل ناس كل مره ده بيجيك في اوضه بتاعك بعد شويه. هسه قاعد ياكل ناس هناك من بعيد، انت تتكلم دافع عن الناس. لكن لما انت تسكت هيجي دورك بعدين وما في زول بيكون قاعد تاني يتكلم عنك. ده رساله لازم نحن نخطو في بالنا. الرساله بتاعتنا الليله في هذه الحلقه ده الرساله بتاعت التضامن. نحن في تضامن. We are in full solidarity with Ustaz Kwel Agwarkwel because he is now detained and his health condition is deteriorating, and this is inhuman, and we are here calling upon the authorities to release him so that he can have medical access, medical services. It is not good to keep him in detention. First they detain him and they are keeping him in detention. His health condition is deteriorating and they don't want him to have access for medical services, and they don't want to try him in a court of law. So what are they doing? What they are doing is that they are keeping him until he dies in prison. And if he dies, that will be the end of this government. Because Kwela Agwarkwel, as I said earlier from the beginning, he's a human being. He deserves human dignity. He deserves to be treated with dignity as a human being. Secondly, he's an intellectual. He has got great qualifications, and we need those qualifications. He is an administrator. We need all those qualifications. Above all, he's a politician. We need him because he can participate in the nation building. So what the government is doing is completely unfair. And we are hereby condemning this, and we stand in full solidarity with Kwela Agwarkwel and the entire family. I would like to further condemn what is happening back home in Awil, because people are looting his properties in Awil. And this is not acceptable. We hereby condemn this one, and we call upon the state authorities to protect his house, to protect all his properties, because this is not acceptable. He is not a rebel. He exercised his right as a citizen in freedom of expression. According to our constitution, every citizen has that right. It is also paradoxical that Kwal Manyang said the same thing that Kwel said, together with Daniel Awenakot, but they were not arrested. So why should Kwel be arrested? This is double standard, and it is not acceptable. So this is our message to all those that are holding him in the prison. يا جماعة نحن بندين العمليات بتاعت نهب والعمليات بتاعت استهداف بتاعت أسرة بتاعه في أويل والنهب بتاعت ممتلكات بتاعه. نحن بندين الكلام ده وبننادي كل السلطات في أويل وبنقول لهم يا جماعة انتوا وقفوا الفوضى دي. ما ممكن تشيلوا ممتلكات بتاعت زول، ما ممكن تخشوا البيت بتاعت زول، ما ممكن تمشي تضايقوا أفراد الأسرة بتاعته. الكلام ده ما مقبول. نحن بنناشد سلطات في أويل إنه هذه الفوضى لازم يقف. كويل شغال من أجلكم، وكويل ده زول اختار أفضل حاجة في الدنيا. أنا قاعد أقول كلام دائما. أفضل حاجة في الدنيا ده عندي ده شنو؟ أفضل حاجة في الدنيا ده عندي هو إنه زول يختار يقول الحقيقة. الدنيا ده ناس كتار ما بيقدر يقولوا الحقيقة، لكن لو طالما عندنا نفرين ثلاثة اختاروا إنه يقعد يقولوا الحقيقة، إذن نحن بخير. المئات والآلاف مننا اختاروا ما يقولوا الحقيقة. لو في نفر واحد اختار إنه يقعد يقول الحقيقة فالبلد بخير. فهو رجل اختار الأفضل في الدنيا إنه يقول الحقيقة. الحقيقة بتاعت البلد كله، ما حقيقة بتاعت بيت أمه ولا بيت أبوه. ده حقيقة بتاعت البلد ككل. كويس. لكن في ناس قاعدين في الحكومة في جوبا الحقيقة ده هم بيشوفوه زي باطل. والحقيقة دي ده قوة لا يمكن إنه يتم قهره. الحقيقة ده قوة سامية. الحقيقة ما بيقتل. ممكن تقتل الزول اللي بيقول الحقيقة، لكن ما بتقتل الحقيقة، لأنه الحقيقة دي يعني ده شيء عايش إلى الأبد، ده شيء المطلق. وفي فلسفة أخرى الحقيقة هو ربنا.
نعم.
الحقيقة هتكون موجودة، والأرض ما ممكن تخلو عن الحقيقة. الأرض ما ممكن تكون خالية من الحقيقة. ممكن الباطل والكذب ينتشر شديد، لكن الحقيقة لابد يكون عنده موضع قدم في الأرض لحد ما النهاية بتاع الدنيا دي يجي. ده حاجة يختاره كويل أبوركويل، إنه يكون رجل الحقيقة ويقول الحقيقة. الحقيقة من أجل إنه يكون خير لكل الناس. أن إحنا ما هنسكت، أن إحنا معه وهنظل نتكلم ونقول الحقائق، لأنه الحقيقة ده نور، الحقيقة ده حرية، الحقيقة ده بيدمر الباطل، بيدمر سلطان، بتاع الباطل،
نعم.
والحقيقة في النهاية بتسود. رغم اعتقاله الحقيقة بتسود، رغم ضربه الحقيقة بتسود، رغم قتله الحقيقة بتسود، رغم انه الحقيقة بقى جثة ميتة وبكبوا عليه بنزين وبيحرقوه، يبقى رماد الحقيقة بتحيا، ما هتموت. مهما فعلتم الحقيقة ما هتموت خالص، لأنه الحقيقة أبدية، الصفة بتاعته أبدية. الأجسام الزائلة اللي بتقول الحقيقة ممكن تموت، لكن الحقيقة لا تزول والحقيقة لا تموت. دي الرسالة إن إحنا بنقدمه لكم، وإنتوا لازم تفهموا الكلام ده كويس. يا أيتها الحكومة في جوبا، ده الكلام اللي نحن جايين نقوله لكم هنا. ولحد هنا أستاذ جونكور أنا بجيب ونترك الفرصة لبقية الإخوة عشان ما يجوا ويقولوا صوتهم. أفتكر أستاذ عبد الله موجود، أنا هترك له الفرصة.
أستاذ دنجد، أنا أشكرك لتضامنك. ده قضية رأي عام، قضية مهم لنا كلنا، وقضية تستحق يعني إنه نحن نتكلم فيه، لأنه بيكوز مهم جدا جدا. شكرا لمداخلتك وشكرا للحديث بتاعك. And with that, welcome, my brother, Welding Attack, chairperson of United Citizens for Change. For him also to elaborate, and give his message. This is so insane, for the former governor of Northern Bahar to be arrested and his health condition getting deteriorated, and the government actually is intended to let him die in detention, which is not acceptable. This is a violation of human rights, a violation of constitution, a violation from humanity perspective. It shouldn't be happening that way. So, Ustaz Wal, welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan, and I want to give you an opportunity to send this message of solidarity here. Please.
Thank you very much, Ustaz Yonkor, for this platform. I greet and thank the audience for the time they have given us to listen to the message that we are sharing. This is a very worrying time for us, and worrying time for the family of Kwelagwe, and the nation need to stand with them in sympathy and advocate for the release of Kwelagwe. And this is very important because health is an important, and it is a right of citizens to get the treatment. Life is something that we don't manufacture.
Yes.
It is so precious because it is given by God, and we must take care of it in all possible way. And most importantly, Kwelagwe is a citizen of South Sudan who contributed enormously to the freedom of the people of South Sudan. At his days in the universities, Kwel organized various rallies. Kwel has worked so hard to put pressure on the regime in Khartoum, and he has been arrested numerous times. Kwelagwe is an individual that stands for integrity. He's not corrupt, and is one of the South Sudanese that we need in this country to help us rebuild the nation that we have to build. Letting it to rot in the prison illegally without the crime that he has committed, it's something that we should not allow as a citizen of South Sudan. Before I started, in our constitution, the laws of South Sudan are clear about what freedom of speech means.
Yes.
And where the limitations. I agree there is no absolute in free speech. But at the same time, there must be justifications for limiting such freedom. And I'll take us through this before I go further. Kwel, as a citizen, has a right to free speech, including challenging his own president. The limitation of freedom of speech extends only, like, for example, where there is defamation in
Yes.
person of president or anybody. And there's nothing that tells us he has, Kwelagwere himself, defamed anybody for him to be arrested. And even that, when someone has gone outside the limitations of the law, there are procedures that are placed in our constitutions and our rules and penal code, where individuals violated laws and is arrested on the criminal ground, that person is only given up to 24 hours before he's
Yes.
arraigned before court. And arraigned before court it means taken to the court.
Yes.
And there, after he appeared in person, those who are accusing or persecutor would apply now for the law to give them more time.
Yes.
And the court will grant them another 24 hours or so time that they so requested, such that he be investigated. This is a different thing for Kwelagwere. If Kwel is charged for violation by such like defamation, for example, does not warrant or doesn't warrant his arrest. What it warrants is notification that you have defamed somebody in your speech, and there are charges that are being brought against you. And Kwel, as a citizen, according to the law, would talk to his lawyer, who would in turn represent him. And these will only come to damages and reputation of somebody. But here there's nothing that such like this as Kwel has done. With the criminal charges, that's when someone can be taken to prison. And there's nothing warrant this. If you also look at the other procedures, Kwel, as a citizen, announced the intention of the people of South Sudan to protest against the bad governance, against the war. That itself falls within the lines and permission of the laws of the land, in the freedom of speech, right to assemble, and a right to speak against what you don't like as a citizen. But the government rushed so fast and arrested Kwel. And this is where the problem is. Today, the government of South Sudan complains that those of Welding Attack, Charles Deng, Jonkor, and whoever is speaking on the platform are the reason why the government has lost the respect internationally. But that's not the truth. Last week we heard about the new minister of Foreign Affairs talking of the same thing, that it's going to work to improve the international, the image of South Sudan in the international arena. This is not possible. It cannot be. The respect that we get as a South Sudan, as a nation in the international arena depends on how we portray ourselves inside the country. When we bundle our citizens irrespective of laws and arrest them and mistreat them, no one outside would be willing to respect such a government. If all that you do is to involve in bad governance, persecution, gagging media, killing innocent citizens, displace millions of South Sudanese, and make them depend on the international aid for food, for education, then no one will respect you. Today we speak, any child that thinks that he can get a better education maybe feel that he's getting it in refugees camp. Let's say in Uganda, in Kenya, Kakuma, for example. But you don't get those things in Juba. And you expect the international community to give you the respect. The respect that we had during the war was, despite the mistake that we're making, Garang Mabur was telling the world and the nation, yes, I am a liberator. I'm fighting to bring in democracy. I'm fighting to bring in rule of law in the country, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly. The values the world respect. And he has something to point the nation to. He has something to point the rest of the world to. But Salva Kiir has nothing to show us to justify why the corruption is continuing in our country. He doesn't have anything to point our attention to that will help us to overlook why our children are not in school, or better school, why there are no hospitals, why the money is being stolen. There's no justification whatsoever. And it only warrants a person like Jonkor, myself, you, and everybody else to speak up and say, no, this is not the value we fought for. We did not fight to bring in individuals to loot the resources of the country. We did not fight in order to have a South Sudan to be governed by individuals who are self-interested, not in the nation of South Sudan. And this cannot come if Salva Kiir, this it would have not happened. This call that we are making today, if President Salva Kiir Mayardit had led the country in the way that benefit the nation of South Sudan. Again, we have seen of late, Joseph Jonkor, we have seen of late South Sudan is getting loans from international government. Has South Sudan become overnight a good, had a government that is responsible? No. And why is it getting it? This is the world of interest. We know for sure the South Sudan government and the rest of the outside world know that the resources that we get from the oil revenue are distributed from the airport and sometimes don't get to the to the banks. I have witnessed myself, and I've seen Salva Kiir open up the drawer of his money, of his desk, to give $30,000. The army, the national security, the ordinary citizen, the constitutional post holders, all the leaders of this expect to get their hands. Like, for example, the lady who just passed away when he went to Nairobi for treatment. He had to stay waiting for money, but didn't have money to go take himself to hospital until Salva Kiir met him and gave him money to go to hospital. The money of dollar has been put into one's hand, and the nation has deteriorated to the extent that even the generals, sometimes a captain there's a captain of a boss, a captain who is a boss of a general, and the general have to look up to him to get support. And there's no country like that. And this is the country we want to change. I've witnessed myself, Salva Kiir, giving people money so that they can go for treatment. And there's a nation that should not go like that. And this is what the people of South Sudan want to change. And this is why we will not have a nation in such form we have. Let me come to the loans then. Why are the loans being given? The loans are given like the one that are given by IMF. This is international business company, entity. We are going to pay the loan back to this company or these organizations. On the top of it, we are going to pay the interest. The same loan that we are paid we're going to pay in the international organizations or entities are not benefiting the people of South Sudan. And I can assure you, a child to be conceived tomorrow or even next year or 5 years to come will be born owing money to other countries, will be born owing money to China because we've taken a lot of loans from China, will be born owing money to IMF. Therefore, we will be mortgaged out. Our terms of reference or our terms of how we can govern the country, even after this Salva Kiir goes away, will be dependent on the conditions that will be put on us. And that is the leverage that the loan is coming with. You will be forced, or the new government that might come in, will be forced to sign things that it shouldn't have signed in order for the nation to survive, because it's going to be heavily indebted on the resources that were taken out by the regime in Juba and used to develop the pockets of those of Salva Kiir and those who Salva Kiir has chosen to be. And these are the very reason the person like Kwelagwer stood up and said, this should stop. We should not enslave ourselves in loans that are taken and not benefiting the nations. We should not allow our children to be born heavily indebted. And this is the reason why he is arrested. He is detained. At first, it was held in the national security. And as we know, national security has levels. In all the 4 or 5 stories, Blue House, there are offices. But below it, there are cells that where they held the political detainees. They have the bed, they have the place to sit in. There's another one for ordinary people that they hold, and another place for the criminals. And they put the one they put those who are torturing, those who want to kill, they put them under the dark room. Quayle was arrested when he was taken to the national security. He was in that political wing, detainees wing. That's where they kept him. But Salva Kiir is so suspicious of a Kolkor, and he thought that he would let him leave. Like he has alleged some people already been ordered for the arrest of some people, but he let them go out. He ordered national security to transfer him to the prison, Juba Central Prison. And Juba Central Prison is a place where the convicts are jailed, including those who are waiting to be hung. They are sent there. And no political detainees are sent there. It's somebody that has been finally convicted, taken out of the police cells, then from police cell to the court, and the court convict him. That person is given the Maria and is sent to the jailing. It's no place for everybody else. But Kiir has faith in those who are holding him for Sijun than he would have in the national security. And that's why Quayle was transferred there. Salva Kiir is only thinking of his own self rather than the welfare of the country or the laws of the land. Let's say the person who pick up the arm and fight against the state of South Sudan is fighting against the constitution of the Republic of South Sudan. And the person who is sitting in the office violating the provision of the transitional national constitution is also fighting against the constitution of South Sudan. There is no difference between Salva Kiir, who is sitting in J1 in offices, and a rebel leader like Thomas fighting against the forces of South Sudan. They are all doing the same thing. They are violating the constitution. And the difference would be Thomas will be saying that is fighting to restore the rule of law in defense of the constitution. What will Salva Kiir tell us? And the rebel group might say, I'm fighting to restore the dignity of our people and the respect of the rule of law, and that is constitution. Salva Kiir is sitting in the office, violating it day in and day out. It is no different between them, and therefore it should be removed. With all his group who are killing innocent citizens of South Sudan, this should be enough time. I mean, this should be enough for us to stand up and say no. As a citizen of the country, Quayle must be released. He has committed no crime. Quayle is a citizen speaking and doing the right thing, defending the constitution of South Sudan. He should be praised instead of being arrested. Lastly, my fellow South Sudanese, the solution to the problem that we are facing today is a popular uprising. You are doing the right thing when you go out to the street and protest, because you are defending the constitution. No solution for South Sudan will come outside of South Sudan, as you know it, until when you pick up the arms and start fighting against the regime in the Sudan. When you start the protests in the universities, that's when the rest of the world came for us. No one will come and say, this is your right, come and take it, when you are doing nothing about your rights. You need to take an action. Referendum of South Sudan was supported by the Americans, was supported by the United Kingdoms, and the rest of the world, let's say, including Norwegian, who has also stood with us for so long time. They came in for our aid because we pick up and say no. No to injustice, no to the misgovernance of the Sudanese state. That's when we got people to stand and say, what we are saying is right. But you sit in your rooms and say, these people are going to kill us, these people are going to do this. They will not. I know the soldiers who are going to be deployed and who are being deployed on the streets of Juba. They are hungry. They are thirsty. They don't have the salary. They don't have basic. They are also suffering like you. And I bet for sure they will not shoot you. We need to organize ourselves and move to take this regime out. If they don't release Kwelagwar. Usad Jonkor, I said popular uprising is the only way the citizens of South Sudan need, not the barrel of a gun. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. SAS will attack chairperson of United Citizens for Change. Uprising is only solution, because we had him for 16 years, and 16 years is a mystery. 16 years of killing, 16 years of jailing, 16 years of South Sudanese become refugees across the the neighboring countries. 16 years with no economic development, with no developmental project, with no schools, with no hospitals, just creating more intercommunal conflicts so people can kill themselves and he remain in power. So this is another new thing, and that's why South Sudanese, they need to wake up. They need will to take it seriously. That Salva Kiir, as long as Salva Kiir is there in J1, South Sudan will not see the light at the end of the tunnel. It will not. And we are saying this, we keep saying this, and it happened. It has been using political deception for a very long time to buy time, to remain there, to kill, and use the fear mongering. And this is the same strategy that they have used for the last 16 years. They are using it. Kwelagwar in detention. They denied him medical treatment. They don't want him to be out so he can die. So others can learn from that. That Salva Kiir is tough. It's not going to allow you to do this, so you can be like a king of this country. But people of South Sudan will determine their destiny very soon. Uprising is the only solution to remove this dictator who does not see any interest of the people, just only himself. So thank you so much, Sazwal. Let me go ahead and tune to Charles Deng so he can weigh in as well with his perspective. Welcome, Charles Deng, and I want to yell microphone to you.
How are you, Brother Janko?
I'm doing very well.
Yeah, thank you. Let me say thanks to you, Brother Janko, and also thanks to the speakers from the chairman, Walatak, and also Dendi Rayot. You guys, I love your input, your statement. It's really touching. To those who are listening, I'm not talking, it's not touching to people who are deaf. It's touching to those who are listeners, those who are concerned, those who have heart, those who love to see a new nation, those who love freedom to ring to all Southern Sudanese, wherever they are, what kind of the tribe they have. Also, let me say to the viewers who attend this show, this is it's a really very, very tough show, Junko. And it's concerning all of us. I'm privileged. I'm very privileged. I'm happy to meet this guy, which is Kwelagwar. He came here in Dallas, 2019. He came, he toured America, but he came to Dallas. Santina Attack called him. I think it's like in-law to him. So I was invited in the house. So it is very privileged to me to meet him. What I witnessed to him is one of the elders I can organize my life. The guy is very humble indeed. The guy is open-minded person. He loves to dialogue, whether you have a different opinion. Also, he accepts any kind of the age. It doesn't matter you are young, you're older, you are disability. So he accepts views. So to me, it was wonderful to meet somebody like this. And he went and he spoke up. He never hid anything. He said even though he was a governor, he was facing a lot of difficulties with the government. And I asked him, what are your difficulties? He said that the government, they don't want people to do good things. So soon you start doing good things, you become obstacle to keep government. Also, this is real upset. And thanks to her daughter, This is a really doubter, and we've seen that you are really doubter of the man, Kwelagut. You show up that you are a really baby to him. It is good, wherever you are, your dad is your blood at the end. So it is better to let people be alert what you say. Her video, she's so much emotional to people who listen to it. And I'm not a lawyer, but we can see how things go in South Sudan. Even during the SPLA, when they detained those of Carbino, Majirigai, and Arongapan, they were in a boomer. But look what SPLA was doing to them. If you went there to that boomer where those Carbino was in prison, it's like hotel. They don't give them privilege. They listen to the radio. They have a medical. They drink those of anishes, any kind of the wine. They go and bring them to them, And they were enjoying the jail, by the way. You see, this is where in SPLA, and Selfa knows this by itself. Selfa himself, he knows it. So what's the pride now with the nation we have, with the capacity of the men we have, and then when somebody just speaks, you throw him into the jail. In South Sudan, there's no political jail. Harami, the killer, the freedom of speech, you are all in one tunnel. Why? There's something weird here. أنا ما شفت حاجة في العالم. لازم يكون في separate jail. مجرم بيخطوا في ميدان الجرام. زول كلام حاجة against government. But if you just put them together, even مجانين, زول مجنون ساكت, زول depression, بيجد also ما زول political في the same jail. And that's what they are human rights abuse. Algada ita gibe kanunda for Jim Crow. These are the human rights abuse. When people were fighting Sudan, we spoke about this, and those details are being put down by the United Nations, and it become against the Sudan government. Become against. How did the United Nations collect
your attitude? So whatever you're doing here, you thought you are doing in a dark place, but it's not. It's in a dark. The whole world are watching. Your people are speaking up, and the world are taking notes. Those media, it look like free, but they're not free. They are not free. The international community, they are taking notes from these media, and that's why they allow the media to be strong over the world, because media help the humanity to get information. Now they used to send people in the ground, okay, go and see this, but right now they don't need that anymore. They don't want to send people to go to that areas, in remote areas. They allowed media to take care of that place. Things happen in a minute in Juba, after 2 minutes, they will appear in social media. So we pray for God, not something to happen to him, but Selfa meant to kill this guy. It meant to be death. But we pray not to happen, because every human life is under God's hand. Every human life is under God's hand. You can plan to kill in your heart, but believe me or not, God will deny that. This guy has already been killed by Salva in his heart. They kill him. لو مشيت في قلب داري زول قتله. تمشي قلب داكولكو, they kill him. But what allowed him to alive is just God. God is still give them a blind face, not to look at the reality. Junkor, I was very impressed for your statement when you challenge the leaders, especially the leaders of the community. And now let me take it this. I will give you a better example. Look, in 2009, Moboto Mahmoud was in a jail. Okay, he was arrested by Salva Kiir. I don't know what the reason, but look what the community of the Equatoria did. Not only Latuka community, all the community leaders of Equatoria, wherever they are, in Europe, in Australia, in America, in Canada, even in South Sudan, even the parliament, everybody is writing the letter. Everybody, we need our son to be released, or we need to see our son to go to the court, and then we can make our judgment. A lot of Equatoria did. They did that. They stand up. Not only Latuka, they stand up. That one, to me, I'm just glad about those communities. Those who were leaders, those leaders of Equatoria at that time, wherever they are really leaders. Imagine now, look at our brothers here in Awil. Community leaders of Awil. Okay? I'm just talking here, community leaders. Those who love when you are the governor, they want to looking for your phone number so they can talk, and then they will come back to their community. I spoke to the community. I spoke to the governor last night. And governor say hi and hi and hi and blah 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 blah. Okay. Soon you exit from the seat, like the Kwelagwed now. Those who used to take pictures, those who used to talk to him, they're quiet. They're silent. So what the mandate of their leader they use for? Are you leader for who? Okay? Are you leader for who? Even the citizen of the Warab itself, they have right even to speak up. They can talk. And that's what the right for them to speak. That's why they show the leader, if you are the leader of the community, you are the leader, even the politician. You are not the leader for the people in the West alone. You know, you are the leader even for those communities, those who are in Juba. You are their leaders. When you go back there, they will call you a leader of a will community. They will not going to call you a president of a will community in the US or in Canada or in Australia. But look at them. Look greedy they are now. Look. And this is good for the community to see the leaders. That's why we are saying don't elect people who cannot stand when the fire is in front of them.
Absolutely.
Don't elect them. You know, don't elect them. It doesn't matter what they have. Don't elect it. You elect somebody who was brave. They are man of the Junub Zaman. Sultan of the Junub, Ashani Azulu, Azulu Zol, brave. Temshi Finya, Sultan ta Nyangwara, Temshi Sultan ta Nuer, Sultan ta Denka, they speak one language. Brave. The Sultan Kalamani, you will be happy. You will be happy. You know, really, you have a leader. But look, these leaders, Karafeta, just taking a picture, throw them on the social medias, and say we are the leader of the community. I'm carrying 2,005 people. I have 50,000 in bank account in my community. This is nothing to you, brother. I'm challenging you. I'm challenging everybody on this. Leaders, stand up. It is time for you to speak. You cannot be scared. Sulfur is far away from you, 100 of miles away from you, and you are still scaring here. Doesn't make sense to me. You know, when we fought, do we fought for Salva Kiir alone? We fought for the generation to come, to have a better South Sudan. We fought that we can have a nation that will believe forever. And we will go. And the next generation will go. And our kids will go. And the land will stay. But at this time, if I see our brothers, they're just hiding. It's scary. God, they are Kwelagwed. Kwelagwed right now, I don't know his age, but I can say he's 70 years old. When I saw him, it's enough for him. He have a record. Even though if he die now, he already make a record. And he's going to close the good reference. You know, dying in the jail is a good thing. It is not bad. It is bad when you die there, but when after at the end of it, his name is going to be on record forever. Because what killed him, it will be taught in school. You know, people will say, yeah, this man was standing for the right of our people. What the difference what Kwelagwed said and what Kwalmanyang said and what Awenakot said? What the difference? If we are really humanity, Luanena say Indian humanity. Him. It's the same kalam al Kwalgal, the same kalam al Wanakogal, and the same we are speaking right now. But because what Salva Kiir, he want to do something that to threat people's life. He want to silence the community. He want to silence the tribe. He want to show you that, hey, I'm a stranger. It doesn't matter how population you have, how million you have, but I will silence you. But what I'm saying here, community of our will this time, is stand up. I'm not saying stand up, pick up the guns and shoot. No. It's stand up for speaking. They hug the color. I'm not saying go take a gun and be rebel. But speak up. Show your strength. You know, you are 1.something million. You're almost 2 million, Awil Barao. Awil is a quarter population of the South Sudan. If you don't know this, quarter of population. Almost 2 million. Awil community alone. If we come to the reality by the election, you know, if you don't win Awil community, you will not be a president. If we have a really fair election between Sudan by then, if you do the real math, you know, if you don't want to win, you will not be a president like America. If you don't want Ohio and Florida, you cannot be a president. Just mess like this. It's going to happen too. You know, in the future, you need that community. But for you, the community, stand up, especially the leaders. Itu al masigin alamad salatin al guiding for beauty. It is time for you to talk. This man has some diabetes. I'm not a doctor, but diabetes and blood pressure, when you have them, especially in the temperature of South Sudan and the situation there, this man can lose his life. Can lose his life in a minute because his age cannot fight him. The immune system he had now, with the age he have, it will never fight anything. It cannot fight even any virus. And this is what people want to do. And later on, Tejitamula Zuma, rest in peace, rest in peace. You guys, you don't get tired of rest in peace. You then taban, you just take a cell phone and then you write rest in peace. And we lost a great uncle. Great uncle, and where you been before? Why you don't add what for us? We stand for anybody right. Loita min Zandi, min Balanda, min Nyangwara, min Ikatos, min ayi men fi Jinu Sudan, Nuer, Gajak, Abiliang, Awil, Gangrial, even Awanishan, Salva Kiir, we stand with them. Because why? We know the reality. Al Belede, the Beled, Bitana school. Amma la khuna Abdel Bagi Ayide, brother Junko. I'm glad you bring that statement up. Zola Makan Bunum fi Facebook, who don't know Abdel Bagi Ayide? Video with 2000. Zola, we here do the show in America at 2 o'clock. Abdel Bagi there is still alive.
He said something very
in Khartoum. And the man come and say, do you know what you can see how the militia minded is. Nazir, they're just lucky. Lo Belede say if you hack, lo can Nazar PLM, they are really Naz, Shutar. Militia making a vice president. Lo Naz Bugul Hagi. Militia. Somebody militia, military, militia, militia mind jesh. Making a vice president. All right? Ashan be Islam without Muzawara. You know, time is coming. By the way, he's on a degree. He's going to exit. Umabiyar Salva Kiir. Salva Kiir is Kiir Mayadit. This Abdel Bagi, it will not end this year without that exit.
That's how we operate. Seriously, I know it's hard to say, but that's how we operate.
Yeah, it's going to exit. It's coming. You know, this year it will not close by exit. It will exit this leadership. They're not in Tiazin. They don't care. They want to make themselves king of the Muslim, king of the will, king of the Denka. You don't understand them. What direction? Nothing machine wait ma biar. Mind agenda. Agenda kid mabi. Even when they were in opposition. They are the one who they are not destroyed the coalition of the opposition. But Abdel Bagi, they destroyed. Khalalaga Kursi, they gain weight. Now they say they are leader. Leader without nothing. Maafi development. إلا يجري في دول الخليج تمشي في السعودية تمشي في دول العربية ولا أنا نعمل خلوة للجنوبين خلوة ده قتلنا all those years. فالمنبر أجمكم it is good we just add our voice but we stand for everybody. وربنا إن شاء الله ربنا it will protect him. We don't want to hear a bad voice, but I know at the end what Salva will do. He will go and release him and he make himself, Wallahi, that's all, China is good, Wallahi, should raise without forgiveness. But people don't know. This guy is already killed you. The time is going to release the guy is done. It will be done. By then, China Gulu, Wallahi, should raise Galwabiot, raise without forgiveness, self-behave salam, you know. And you can see from those statements of the Dinka, Gal, we are the foreign agents. And the man living in America is enjoying the freedom.
Nothing. This guy
is enjoying the freedom of America. And he's telling us here, people here are agents. And he's enjoying the freedom of America. All right? What the difference? This is the same thing we have feeling. We want our people to be free. People to have a right. If so good quiz, my jibulum den bita 30 sana or 70 sana fi mustaqbal. The guru jalmasha jaba 700 million. This is that do you never been taken? They will not get away. Our kids, grandkids, they will pay for it. Thank you, Brother Junko, for this. This is a great show. Had a quiz. Lekin akuba da ayemshi be muzaharat. It will go. You know, it will go. Shabda Junubin, listen, Maragod, listen, Makalum quiz. But they will come out. You know, we will come out. Junubin, you cannot oppress Southern Sudanese for more than 30 years. You will never do that. Shifta Umar Bashira, Junubin will not reach that state. They will never. All right? So it is almost coming. People will come out, and Kira will exit soon. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you, Jonko.
Thank you, Ustaz Charles Deng, for elaboration. And أشكرك يا أخي. Thank you. Ustaz Wal, mumkin send your last message from here, and then I think we can call it off. Yeah. Go ahead.
Thanks, Ustaz Charles. Charles really made a very important point. The end is soon.
Yes.
Ustaz Jonko, let me address the people in the uniform before I end my show.
Yes.
I want to tell you this, my fellow South Sudanese who are in armed men in police uniform, in the national security uniform, in the military uniform, and even for Sijun. Read the situation. Make the reading correctly. See where you were in 2005 when you took over the Juba, Sudan, as a transitional government. Look at your life. Look where it was by the time. In 2010, as you go by, you realize we are going backward. Zamanda the country of Groshak, Charian. You were taken care of. You go to hospital, there were medicines. Do you know where those medicines are coming from? And do you know why they disappeared? They disappeared when the international community cut the aids they were giving to South Sudan because of the war of 2013. The government in Juba was taking the fund that were budgeted for. The medicine that were meant to go to the hospital in Juba, the fund that were meant to renovate and to build new hospitals and clinics, they were taking it and build their own houses in abroad and invest them outside of South Sudan, fearing that the country will go back to war. And when you go back to war, lose or win, they will go and stay in their second homes. Uganda, Kenya, Malat. Their second home. They go back to. Then they forgot that they had not prepared themselves for the country, for democracy, and they started the war. They were warned by the international community. The way you people are going is very risky for the country and very dangerous for nation building. Find them, stop doing that. They did not listen. They started the war. When the international community pulled away the money they were giving to buy the medicines, they continued taking the money that was meant for development of South Sudan. They took it abroad, and that's why we began to see Panadol disappearing on the counters in the hospitals. Because they're corrupting that one and they do not care where that fund goes to. And that's why the suffering is continuing today. Do you agree that each time you go on the street and you are deployed, that your children remain hungry, sick, and no hospital to take them to? No school and no better future. Do you agree that is the future you want to live with your child? I know the day you were deployed, you were given only 1,000 pounds. And that's 1 meal. And bottle Ramoya Gudurkubade. Suppose you are struck by the heat.
Yes.
And you die. What do you say you leave to the child? In your room, in your house. What would you say that you leave to your wife who will look after those kids? And you know for sure Zumra Batak, your colleagues who died defending this regime, they are now the bakers in the streets of Juba. The hustlers are the one who baked the foreigners to give them money out to eat, to take them back to Mama who is remaining in the house. The women that you see along the hotels are baking their women and wives of your colleagues who died defending Salva Kiir. They are bakers on the street of Juba. And you know, even among the Dinka for the time, it is a taboo or a disgrace for a man or a woman to go beg for food. You don't even accept that I'm hungry, even when you're hungry, because you don't want to be seen begging. But now, the crowns of every home is a woman. And they have been left now to going from hotel to hotel begging, asking for help so that they can feed their children.
Mhm.
Are you not destroying that legacy, that value we had as people of South Sudan, as a Dinka? I know back in the village, a Dinka man, when he's given a chance to divide a roasted meat among the colleagues, he will take a stick and chew it while he's cutting the meat and distribute it so that it doesn't take anything. That honesty is now disappearing, and who is destroying it is the regime in Juba. You will find that some Dinka men and women that have involved in corruption.
Mhm.
And those days, corruption is something that people shun from. Stealing was something that is detested among the Dinka society. And that's why fairness was the key things in our society. If I'm a Dinka man and I'm given meat to share or food, and I'll take the chewing stick and decided to divide the food fairly until everybody gets what they deserve to. But this regime does not see that. It does not see that as a need. He has selected the thieves to steal the country and destroy the names of South Sudan. The same, the values of Dinka Zatu. The values of Dinka are not represented. The values of South Sudanese are not representing. Jablena Kwakwa Arami or Equatorial Arami, Nuerawi Arami, Dinkawi Arami, and they put them there to lead us and represent us and destroy our image. My fellow South Sudanese, who has picked up the arms and fight and saw your colleagues fallen. If you remember the young man who stole his colleague when he fell into in Harapita, Joko. In Joko, Jeshamer went to the war and he fell into the trenches of the enemy and he was caught. And he said, they are 15 and myself 16. Throw us grenade. Don't let them go. I want to die with them. And he died with them. You witness him, a friend losing his legs, losing his limbs for South Sudan. Are you happy seeing them the way they walk in Juba? Some, Juba wounded hero. Some of them are committed suicide because they could not bear the suffering and the betrayal they are seeing several cases has done to them. Some have resigned to alcoholism because there's no hope. And this is a war hero who has given his limbs in order for us to be free, in order for Salva Kiir to be sitting in J1. But they have been betrayed. Do you have the courage, my brothers and sisters, to hold Kwelagwar in prison? Who is saying our brothers should not be treated the way you guys are treated? Do you have the courage to say Quill should remain in prison without even going for a medical appointment because this month he was going to for operation, medical procedures abroad? But Kid is holding him because he's speaking against what is happening to you. Is it practical, my brother, that you are going to silence the voice that say you deserve to have the uniform, you deserve to have barracks, you deserve to have your salary, you deserve to have the honor as organized forces of the Republic of South Sudan? Is it practical for you to stop South Sudanese who are fighting for you? If it is not, I'm asking you to distance yourself from this regime. In the next phase of South Sudanese going out, I want to urge you, do not touch a single of the South Sudanese who are going on the street.
Yes.
Because it is not practical for you, the citizen of South Sudan, to see our country being disrespected because of the bad behaviors at homes. Bet ma fogo intram ma bataramu. You know Jeran Butakasi, Jeran Butak, who is not respecting and is not treating his children well, is not respecting his wives, is not taking care of the family, such Jeran is not respected by Jeran Zado. And that is the same thing happening to us in South Sudan. We are not getting the respect because we are seen as irresponsible. Because the leaders that represent us are those who represent the values that we believe in. Leaders are not better than us. But if we have one of us that is not representing the values that we believe in, the best thing we could do, and the least we could do actually, to distance ourselves from that person. And that is Salva Kiir. And these are our values. We believe in freedoms. And that's why millions of South Sudanese died fighting for that. We believe in free speech, right to assemble, democratic values. We believe in justice and equality. And what is happening to Kwelagwer is not justice. We believe in equality. And what is happening today is not equality, because it is not equality if the resources of the nation are taken out by few individuals and invest on their private accounts, on their private businesses, on the expenses of the rest of the majority of the nation, or the rest of the nation. It is not justice. It is injustice, and this is not. These groups are not representing what we believe in as the people of South Sudan, and that's why I think we should let them go. For the officer in the national security, in the officer in the army, you've seen recently Salva Kiir bypassing the soldiers that has fought the war, bypassing the rank, and appoint civilians into ranks of generals. We've seen Ali Nas Tujar. Some of them have been sanctioned, like Kurajing, like Ayinduang. They have been given the rank of generals, and they don't have military background. We've seen recently Dengwal has been appointed general. By passing the line and the chains of the commands of the army. Is it not distraction to you? Is it what that you wanted to see as organized forces? No, I don't think so. I want to urge you, distance yourself from these people and stand by your fellow citizen. Stand by the fellow South Sudanese so that we can take this regime out through a peaceful means in uprising. I'm not asking you to give up the arms and remove Salva Kiir. I'm asking you, do not harm your fellow citizen. And the rest of the decision, you can make your own decision. But my appeal to you, protect the citizen of South Sudan, because that's why you are wearing the uniform. Protect your own right, because yourself, you are being abused. Today, you are left with your own challenges without being support from the government. You will get sick, and no one will send you to the hospital. I mean, there are no medicine in the hospitals, no qualified facilities. But you will only come to Kiir, who has enslaved your mind, and give you $30,000 or $15,000 and say, go for treatment. And you say, well, I buy another place. Sadness. Yes, sadness shall manak, and it makes sure that you're angry and destroy your thinking. And now you say you praise him for giving you what he has stolen from you. That is not what is supposed to be. You deserve to have a hospital equipped with all the necessities that the medical facilities will need for you to be treated. You deserve to have your salary and well paid so that you can take care of your family. Your salary cannot even take care of your one meal. You know, you see a soldier, bamshi malfam shamishi gaba shaneta shajar, yamul fam shani yibu shani yalo yakulu.
Yeah.
If this is what you want to continue for your life, if you give, do not support Salva Kiir. Do not harm your fellow citizen. This thing must end, and must end now. Lo ita ma da shi malfam, tantami ta fa ashigar, shani yala yakulu. Stop, so that your salary comes on the it was meant to be. The hospital are equipped with medicines and qualified teaching for medical practitioners. The schools where your children will be going to will be staffed with teachers that are qualified and to provide the future that your children should deserve to have to make South Sudan a better place. If you send out those who say, like Salva Kiir, who going to represent us, talk Inu, cannot even get some papers when he's given a speech to read, that's the message that you send. That's what we are to the rest of the world. But that shouldn't be. We will not be respected if the types of Salva Kiir that we are continuing to be sending out later on, because the generation is not well prepared, not well educated, then we will not have the respect that we have. When our diplomats go and meet outside with other diplomats, and they do represent themselves as well-informed citizens, well-educated, that's the respect that that's what we'll get from them. No one will respect this country. Work for South Sudan to be respected. Work for South Sudan to progress and claim its glory and its place in the world map in all fields. Everything has to be said, cannot be said on this platform. But the only thing I will tell you, my brother and sister, rise up for your right. You went hands out cannot be enough to build you enough. No country within the region is having an interest for Salva Kiir to go. Because if Salva Kiir go, no one will go and live in Uganda. No one will go and live in Kenya. And that is an income. Bishilo dollar in Juba, and it's sent to Uganda and sent to Kenya. It builds that economy because it's going to be spent. And those money is going to circulate in those economies to the disadvantage of the economy of South Sudan. South Sudan is a source of income to some of these neighboring countries. Tell me a reason why do you think they can accept you to change Kir Mayar, who is giving them opportunity for income? No one would want to do that. Therefore, no one outside of the South Sudan would want to change you and bring solution to South Sudan. For you who think that we are the international agents, you do not need an agent to serve your own country and to serve your own interests. We are speaking for South Sudan. We are speaking representing the millions of the citizens who are suffering. We are representing the case of fallen heroes, the martyrs who fought and died fighting for South Sudan. There's nobody outside, not even Troika, not America, not Uganda, not UK or Norway, Australia, any country that can come for your safe. It is you who can change it, and that's what we started. We are speaking for South Sudan. We are not speaking for any other foreign nations. The child who is suffering in the street is not a representative, or is not a UK child. He's not an American child. He's a South Sudanese child. And that's the child we want to stop suffering the way he or she is suffering today. The money that is being stolen from Juba is taken to the neighboring country, to the foreign nations, to benefit from it. I know the people of South Sudan, and this is what we want to stop. Such stealing of public funds and be transferred abroad for the benefit of the children of people outside of South Sudan, that's what you said must stop. That child who is drinking dirty water from the Nile, who is polluted water, that's what we say must stop. That child must deserve to drink a clean drinking water. The oil pollution that is killing the innocent South Sudanese in the oil producing area, that's what we are telling the world, it must stop. These children are not the foreign children. They are South Sudanese by blood, by bones, and everything that makes a South Sudanese a South Sudanese. Do not stand on the way to block a solution that will bring a better life for your fellow country. It's a South Sudan is our nation. Last but not the least, we need to reconcile the broken fabrics of South Sudan. Salva Kiir and his group, they are working day and night, day in and day out, to make sure that we, the citizens of South Sudan, never come to unity. And whom we are trying to unite are the South Sudanese, but not nation and the foreign nationals. Therefore, we are not a representative of foreign nationals or foreign nations. We are representative of the very suffering child, woman, elderly, and son of South Sudan. Everybody, including yourself, who is accusing us. Join us for that better country. Again, Mr. President, release Quell Agwal. Quell has not committed any crime to remain in detention. If you are convicted and you are sure Quell is guilty, allow Quell to face the court.
Yes.
And let the court decide, and that's why we have the court of law. We are all subjective in our own thinking. If I'm angry at Jonko, I will take Jonko to court and listen to a neutral arbitral. A neutral, that entity is the court. If you have the charges against him, let your lawyer represent you in court. And let Quill find himself a lawyer who will represent him, and let the court decide. Holding him illegally is a proof that you don't have a case against him. You are simply afraid of him. You are afraid of him that the citizen will follow Quell Agwal and you will be overthrown for your bad governance. You are afraid of Quell Agwal that the citizen will come up to the senses and exercise their democratic rights. And that amounts to cowardice. If you're courageous as a man you think you are, be courageous and face Quell in court of law. And don't detain him illegally. Release Quell Agwal and let him be free and go for medication. And if at all you don't want him to go, take him to court and let the court prove that we were wrong and that Quell was wrong. I'll end my case there. Thank you very much, Mr. Jonkor, for the time, and thank you for the audience for listening to us.
Thank you.
And all the comments that you made.
Yeah, thank you, Sir.
May God bless you. May God bless us today.
Thank you, Wolatag, Chairperson of United Citizens for Change, for coming in and airing your perspective. I really appreciate you. Well said message. We continue, inshallah, with that. Thank you. And with that, I think I have a gentleman here, I believe, Morris, with Jock. I hope I said it right. So, Moses.
Oh, Morris, with Jock. How are you, brothers?
He wanted to add his perspective as well before we go. So, Morris, I want to give you.
Yeah, I know you.
I want to give you an opportunity too, Morris. Faddal, go ahead.
Yes, I think I covered well.
Go ahead. I hope you are in a stable place.
Yeah, so. Thank you so much that I'm connected to you guys. Yes, I'm in a very stable place.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to join you in the studio. I'm grateful and privileged to see Comrade Wall also participating, putting his ideas about the current political situation in our country. I'm also one of the political activists on good governance and human rights. In exile currently, joining you live from capital Nairobi. Yeah, what I would like to add into this discussion is about the health situation of Honorable Quell Agwal. I watched a live video yesterday about the statement from his family members, especially the daughter of Honorable Quell Agwal. With that video, I was really very shocked, and it touched me a lot, because Honorable Kwela Gurkwel, as Comrade Wolf put it in his presentation or his perspective, Comrade Kwela Gurkwel is not a criminal. He did not kill any person. He's a politician and he's an academician at the same time. The university where I was graduated in, Kwel is our vice chancellor in that university in Starford International University College of South Sudan. And we don't want to lose him. This morning, I wrote a letter to His Excellency the President Salva Kiir Mayardit on behalf of the human rights activists and on my own behalf as the political activist for South Sudan, who is currently in exile due to some circumstances that I will not mention here. So I would like to urge His Excellency the President to allow Professor Kwela Gurkwel to seek his medical treatment within the country or abroad under his security surveillance. We don't say that you release Kwel for good, but we wanted Kwel to be given right of treatment.
Morris,
it is one of the things that is in Chirain.
Morris, I'm sorry to disrupt
you.
Why would you say that under his surveillance? Why?
Okay.
He's not a criminal. A criminal always, you monitor criminal under surveillance if he committed a crime. Why would you say under the civilian? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for that significant question. I'm saying that he should be under the civilian of the security because already he's a suspect according to them. And if he's a suspect and he's sick, he should be given that opportunity to be treated, to be given medical treatment within the country under the civilian of the security. And therefore, after he completed his medical services, we needed Comrade Kwel to be presented before the court of law to prove him.
Okay, continue with your message. Continue.
Okay, thank you so much. As we have been informed this morning about the health situation of Comrade Kwela Gurkwel, the family member added also, who is a daughter, she said that his father is really suffering from diabetic and that the diabetic has gone up to 300 if you can, if you have watched that video. And the general temperature of his body is at 40 degrees, you see, and that one automatically he's at risk because with the diabetic and the temperature is very high, Comrade Kwel is at risk currently. And I have a picture now, and that picture indicates that his health condition is not stable, and therefore I'm requesting the government under the leadership of His Excellency the President to transfer Comrade Kwela Gurkwel to a hospital urgently for immediate attention.
Okay, so it looked like maybe there is disruption on your end there, but I did not stop you. So that's your message that you wanted to air out, Ustaz Morris?
Yeah, that is the little message that I want to put across. It is an appeal. I'm appealing humbly to the leadership because we have lost the revolutionary leaders. We have lost many politicians right from 2019 to 2021 due to the coronavirus pandemic. And therefore, I'm requesting His Excellency the President, if we could continue to lose many revolutionary leaders and our politicians like that, we are going to lose the history of South Sudan.
Thank you. But Ustaz Morris, giving the constitutional right, in your opinion, now you are talking about appealing to the president to release. What do you make of this? Because Article 24 from South Sudan Constitution 2011-2015, there is no crime being committed by former governor of Northern Bahr el-Ghazal here. He was expressing himself. He has a right to express. He has a right of assembling. What is your intake on this when you read these two articles, 24-25?
Yeah, thank you so much for that significant question. My takes on that is is that it is stimulated in Article 24 of the Transitional Constitution of the Republic of South Sudan, 2016 as amended. See, as amended. It is 2016 as amended. When you go and read critically on that article, it gives the citizen of South Sudan the freedom to assembly, the freedom of association, the freedom to express themselves. And therefore, Comrade Kwel and his team did not commit any crime against the Constitution of South Sudan, but they are the victim of propaganda according to the international law, because what they have decided should have not been heard out before the time frame has arrived. I wish if I were one of the members in those teams, this idea is a genuine idea, and it is a constitutional right of the people of South Sudan to express themselves the way they are governed by their government. It's not right, and that is why I'm now living in abroad. I have been exposed to left the country due to my severity. It is shown that the government of South Sudan is not respecting the Constitution of South Sudan. And they are ruling us based on the jungle law.
Thank you. Thank you, Morris. And with that, I have to add another question. Given that you are a political,
thank you so much,
and you are not happy with what's happening in the country, what is your message to those who are very complicit with the situation that's happening in the country?
Yeah, based on my political opinion about this, the current situation of South Sudan will not change, and it will continue not to change. It will not be stabilized at all. And what I see as an alternative to this situation is that to push the current leadership and the political parties or the signatories to the agreement to hold election in 2022 to bring to an end this political crisis, we must go for election.
I don't know if you understand my question, Ustaz Morris. I'm saying that, given the fact that you are out of the country, because you are airing your views out, and the regime does not accept anyone that is speaking, anyone that exercising their right according to the Constitution. Now, what is your message to those who are complicit in the country? Because there are so many people, actually, they have seen the wrongdoing by this regime, but they are not saying anything. Your message to them is what?
Thank you so much. My message to the people of South Sudan and to those who are listening right now to our discussion is that we must stand up and voice out our concern as the people of South Sudan to tell the government that the Constitution is the second after God. That Constitution must be respected, and the right of the people of South Sudan should be given to us in accordance to the Constitution of South Sudan. And failure to that, we call for the regional bodies, we call the people of South Sudan to give pressure to this government to hold election on time, to give us our right, and to legitimize the government of South Sudan as the legitimate government. Now, from 3 days back, the agreement which was signed in 2018 has elapsed.
Morris is frozen.
And the government currently is not legitimate again. And therefore, it is our sole responsibility as the people of South Sudan to stand up together, to chant together, and to voice out our concern together for the change of this government.
Morris, thank you. You brought up now the issue of election. But this is a regime that have been using political deceptions for 16 years. They called for Arusha, reunification, nothing happened. When Addis Ababa 2015 peace agreement, president doesn't want to implement it. And you call it, this is not a Bible, this is not a Quran. And he boycotted, he did not implement it, created 2016 war, and yet they have to go to Khartoum and sign peace agreement, which is not moving anywhere. And he went to Rome. Now, you talking about the election, saying that, you know, that's we should call upon the government to conduct election in 2022. With all the respect of all these things happening, buying times, using political deception, do you still believe in this government if you conduct the election is going to be fair and honest? I don't know if you get my question.
Yeah, thank you so much for that significant question that you brought across. I think in African, I'm getting you.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm getting you, comrade. Yeah. Yeah, I think the election will not be free and fair based on some analysis that I look into it.
Then why are you calling for election?
Why the election should not be free and fair is that already there are constitutional irregularities in place. The parliament is divided based on the political groups. Now, when you see the appointment, I'm coming on that.
Go ahead.
I'm coming on that point. I'm saying the election should be conducted, and why election should not be free and fair will be the intimidation from the military. Already, the military is not the national army. The military in Juba has been divided into regions. Now there is a military of Riek Machar, the IO. Within IO, it is also divided into two again, if you are following the news, within the IO. And that is the role of the national security in Juba, is the one dividing now the IO camps to buy time so that the government should not go into election. The same thing also in the SSPDF. The SSPDF is divided into two. There is the military of Akolkor currently, and there is a military of Salva Kiir, which is the SSPDF and Tiger. So from there, election will not be free and fair unless the international community and the regional bodies like the African Union, the European Union, should play a role to bring these parties to respect the international norms and values of conducting free and transparent elections, as it is done in the other advanced countries.
Correct. And we are all convinced that the election under Salva Kiir and Riek Machar is not going to be transparent and credible. Why would you call for an election then? And you know, technically, it's not going to be transparent. It's not going to be, a credible election. Why would you go to that?
Yeah, definitely I go to that agenda because it is the requirement of the law, under the international law, and it is the requirement under the transitional constitution of the Republic of South Sudan. It is also the requirement under the peace agreement, you see. And if elections are going to take place, these political parties, the party of Riek Machar, the SPLM party and the Salva Kiir Mayardit, and other political parties should seek the registration process. And therefore, still as the people of South Sudan, we don't want Salva Kiir and Dr. Riek Machar to contest for the upcoming election. We should see the neutral candidate to contest election during election. And both Riek and President Kiir should go home.
Thank you, Morris. I really appreciate you. I want to give chance to Ustaz Abdallah Garang. And also, there is another person here from Juba who tend to be a diehard of SPLM. We want him to participate today too and tell us what is irregularity of what Kwel has done, or what did he violate it? What has he violated in the Constitution? I would love to hear from him, but let me go to Ustaz Abdallah Garang. Ustaz Abdallah Garang, I want you to weigh in also. نسمع مسج بتاعك في أمسية دي. طبعا نحن بنتحدث عن deterioration of health condition of Kwel, former governor of Northern Bahar Ghazal. حالته في خطر وحالته حرج. Salva Kiir, طبعا, of course, he want him to die. That's his plan. In order to use the fear mongering, the people of South Sudan and activists. Not actually anyone that attempted to do so will be met by this such, of behavior. So, Ustaz Abdallah Garang, I give you an opportunity, and then بعد كده أنا بمشي لك من Gabriel to hear from you as well. Ustaz Abdallah Garang, تفضل.
شكرا جزيلا استاذ جنكور. انا طبعا برا البيت، لكن انا قلت انا لازم اشارك في هذا التوبيك. لانه الاستاذ كولا جوركول هو ما مجرم. انا من هنا بطالب باطلاق سراحه بدون شروط عشان ما يمشي لاسرته ويمشي للعلاج، لانه هو زول كبير. انا مستغرب جدا. كولا جور ودوه في سجن بتاع كوبر بتاع جوبا. السجن ده للمجرمين المحكوم عليهم، لكن زول ما محكوم عليهم من اي قضاء. ده منو ذاته ده يعطوا قاضي قال زول ده يشيلوه يودوه في سجن بتاع كوبر، لانه نازل محكومين عليهم. المحكم المجرم مجرم، ولا محكوم بسنتين 3 سنة، لكن ده زول ده حتى الان قضيه حقته ما ودوه للقضاء. فكيف انك تشيله وتوديه للسجن؟ في حاجه اسمه تحفظ، متحفظين عليهم او سجناء سياسيين ما بيعامل بنفس هذه الطريقه. للاسف الشديد المحل القاعد فيه كولا ده مفروض الحكومه الان الموجود يمشي يجيب الناس اللي بيقتلوا الابرياء في هناك في ابوك، في المناطق بتاع جوجريال ديل. هو الناس دي المفروض يخشوا في سجن. لكن يعني الزول لما نيجي يتكلم على اساس انه نحن دايرين تغيير، طوالي الرئيس كير والشرذمه المستفيدين حوله طوالي بيقوموا شنو؟ بيعتقلوك او يقتلوك، لانه انت تتكلم في السلطه بتاعت باين. ما دارين اي زول يتكلم في الموضوع بتاعت السلطه دي مطلقه ليهم هم فقط دون الاخرين، لكن ما في زول ثاني يتكلم عن التغيير. ده حرام. ليهم هم فقط يتكلموا شنو؟ منو يجي ومنو يمشي. ولا اقول زول بريء ما عنده اي جريمه، ما عنده اي جريمه. والسبب الاساسي اصلا الجنوبيين صوتوا عشان يكون عندهم بلد، عشان الحاجات زي دي ما تتكرر في بلد اسمه جنوب السودان. لكن للاسف يعني بلد ما فيه عداله. انا ما اعرف شان ريج ده هو قاعد يعمل شنو. شان ريج مسجوك، كير مسجوك، لانه انت رئيس القضاء ده عيب عليك يسموك رئيس القضاء وانت تسمح بشخص كان يوم من الايام كان قبل لولايه فيها اعلى تعداد سكاني بعد جوبا، كويس، في جنوب السودان، ولايه شمال بحر الغزال، يتم اعتقاله زول في سنه في كبير بدون توجيه اي تهم بالنسبه له. السؤال: من الذي امر بدخول كولاغور الاستاذ كولاغور الى السجن مع المجرمين وهو ما مدان؟ نحن من نطالب. لكن اذا انتم مثلا خايفين من التغيير هيجي. كولاغور انتم تخطوه في السجن، في ثاني 20 كولاغور قاعدين برا بينادوا بالتغيير داخل مدينه جوبا وخارج مدينه جوبا. والسجون الان اللي انتم بتدخلوا فيه الناس بدون محاكمات، انتم حتخشوا فيها بمحاكمات، انتم حتتحاكموا وحيدخلوكم في نفس المكان. انا بقول للحكومه انه يجب عليكم اطلاق سراح كولاغور من دون اي مقدمات. رساله اخيره، انت قبل ذكرت نقطه مهمه جدا، الكوميونيتيز. حتى الان الناس ساكتين. بالمناسبه يعني ده بديني يعني انطباع انه الكوميونتي في جنوب السودان ضعيف جدا، هم فقط مع المصالح. وينو الناس الامس كانوا بيقول لكولاغور لما كان هو قبل بيقول له بن، وينو الناس اللي كانوا بيقولوا يا ولد احسن قبل، وينو الناس اللي كانوا بيقولوا له تحيه، وينو الناس اللي كانوا بيجوا له الصباح عشان يدوه حق العلاج لعياله. ما في وفاء، ما في رد جميل. ده شعب ما ممكن اصلا الزول ده يكون قاعد في السجن الا فقط اسرته. انا للاسف الشديد انا يعني اجري موشن لو انا شفت بنته ماشيه في السوشيال ميديا يعني وهي بتطالب بحقوق والدها. وين باقي الاسره او الكوميونتي؟ وينه؟ كل يوم قاعدين ده او الكوميونتي ماشيين برنامج او الناس منو مقسمين. ليه ما تتكلموا في المواضيع زي دي؟ ولا اقول لا هو الجبنه ده جبنه حقنا نحن، ده جبنه بتاع شمال بحر الغزال، ده هو الحاكم في يوم من الايام. لكن الحصل لكل أقول ده هيحصل لسلفا كير ميادين، ويحصل أي زول قاعد الآن في السلطة وبيشوف نفسه إنه السلطة ده حاميه. أبدا، السلطة ما بتحميك.
نعم.
زي ما حصل لكل أقول ده برضه هيجيك، والدائرة بتدور على الطابور ما دام ما في عدالة، والشغل بيقد يعني مصالح، والشغل بيقد منو عنده قروش، والشغل بيقد منو الدار يقعد في الوزارة وما عليه يتكلم عن الحق. حيجيكم كلكم، كير حيخش سجن، واني حيخش سجن، رياض مشاعر حيخش سجن، حسين عبد الباقي حيخش سجن، ماما نياندين حيخش سجن، وشارع ده حيخش في السجن. سجن انتوا قاعدين تشوفوه ده كعب ولا الناس المجرمين، انتوا اكبر المجرمين. اذا انتوا ما دايرين تحققوا العداله، دايرين تعملوا لتشهير الفوضى في جنوب السودان، الفوضى راح تجيكم. والله ما حتقعدوا في جنوب السودان، حتجروا الشعب. اذا انتم ما دايرين تستقيلوا بالفوضى انتم قاعدين تعملوا في جنوب السودان، الشعب حيغيركم، حينتزعكم من كراسيكم انتزاعا، وحتمشوا للجاربج، او حتنشروا تقعدوا في البيوت اللي انتم بنيتوه خارج في يوغندا ولا وين. برضه ما حتستسلموا. اي مجرم شال قروي في جنوب السودان كويس، لما يجي التغيير وجرى ماشي اي دوله من دول الجوار حيجي وانت هتخش في معركه بتاع كل اقوى. لكن ما هتخش سايد بالفوضى، هيودوك للمحكمه. قاضي هو اللي بيقول يا اخي الزول ده يودوه في سجن بتاع بسجن كوبر، وقاضي هو اللي بيقول يا اخي الزول ده يودوه في سجن قديله. ما مكتب كير، ما مكتب نائب رئيس، ما ناس جهاز الامن. ده فوضى. انا بطالب باطلاق سراح كل اقور بدون شروط عشان يمشي لاسرته. ولو انتم ما دايرين تفكوه انتظروا راجيكم، والدور جاي عليكم. شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا استاذ عبد الله قرن لكلمات المهم ورسالتك المهمه دي. With that, Said Man Gabriel Chual Kwaj, I see you have a message that you wanted to say. I don't know. Do you agree with the detention of former governor of Northern Barkazal Kwel Agura Kwel, or if you don't agree?
So yeah, Jonkor, first of all, let me say I appreciate you today for giving me this opportunity to come and talk with you on this forum of South Sudan concerned citizen. So the issue of comrade, the issue of our comrade Kwel Agwer is our comrade of the SPLM. So, and it is not a concern of our citizen just to come and say that Kwel Agwer must be released. Kwel Agwer must
it's
be
not what? It's not a concern of the citizen. Are you saying that?
Yes, it's not a concern of the citizen, or the concern. Let me talk about the concern of the particular community, like the people of our will to say our son was arrested. So Kwel Agwer is being arrested for the issue of the national concern. So it is only in South Sudan where it is happened for somebody just to come and say that he want to overthrow the government, and then you can expect it just to come and work outside here like somebody else who did something well. So according to the heli status of Kwel Agwer, there are some people who say that Kwel must be released. Kwel ugar enough is saying woman teaser. Yeah, Jonkor Tadeta can get the Shomal. Piaja bin Matizarin. Matizarin bagot Pisigin lad na man yomel hukuma beyi, badak shan shilu pi makama uba be asab gadi abatak. Ita bagot Pisigin. Kwel Agwer ubu bagot enough Pisigin, lad na man makama beto beyi, chana akum. Dak de ganun. Happy Mel.
Man Gabriel, have you read the Constitution of South Sudan? Have you read?
I have the Constitution of South Sudan, and there is no any article which is there for someone to come and say that we don't want the government to topple the government.
Okay, no. I'm not saying that. If you read the Constitution of South Sudan, are you aware that all the suspects are to be brought to the court within 24 hours from the the time that they were arrested? Fi kalam zede constitution or not? Are you aware of that?
My brother, let me tell you this.
No. I want you to answer that question because we are talking constitution. Are you aware of that? Fi haja zede constitution. Ita kuta muntazirin, huwa muntazir. But do you understand? Do you understand any suspect can be brought to the court within 24 hours from the time that he was arrested? Are you aware of that?
That one is there, but it depends with the crime you committed. It depends on the crime you committed.
Listen, dear brother. Listen. Crime is a crime. Regardless.
Yes.
Small crime like this, big crime is a crime. Do you understand that? If crime is a crime, all the suspects are innocent until they prove guilty before the court of law. So Constitution of South Sudan بيقول شنو انت لو قبضوك within 24 hours لازم يكون في مسؤول أمام القاضي. Did that happen to Kwelagur? Tell me. If you are talking Constitution, did that happen to Kwelagur?
Kwelagur was being arrested, and due to his early status, the court was not ready.
I'm not talking about health status, please. My brother, I want to give you an opportunity. Let's cooperate here. Was Kwelagur brought to the court according to the Constitution? Innu suspect bijibu le mahkama within 24 hours. Ashan aqwalu qadi istamil aqwal. Did that happen?
It is not happen simply that they say Kwelagur. That one was not happen simply that Kwelagur and his team or PCCA, they say
I'm not talking about team. I'm talking about the suspect. The suspect here is Kwelagur. Don't worry about PCCA. Worried about the suspect here. The suspect is Kwelagur because you wanted to charge him for a crime that he committed. Did you bring him to the court of law within 24 hours or 48 hours?
Kwelagur was a suspect who have a prediction. And they have declared themselves date 30. That is why he was detained until date 30. And the same date 30, they fail enough. Even you were supporting them. You were supporting them online here.
I don't know if man Gabriel. I don't know if you understand my question. I hope you understood my question. Do you understand what I'm saying? You ping ya alwel, you ping. Ay alwe kwel kibay makami saturu kunwan bad my ye we criminal kibay makami. That's the question that I'm asking. Do you understand that question? It looked like it's frozen. I don't know what happened to him. Cut off, whatever. It's okay. Good. I want to give you an opportunity. This is what they cut off because for some reason.
I just will thank you. I'm just gonna be for like 3 or 4 minutes. Thank you, my brother. And the audience, also of the Lagarang, Mayan. It's the one, I'm speaking here as a leader of 6th state of New England. So I'm I'm urging the government of the Republic of South Sudan to give former Governor Kwel a chance to get a treatment, to be treated. That's so given a chance to be treated, it will be actually good for the government. You cannot allow someone who is sick, even though he has committed a crime, to die in prison. That will send a wrong message to the government and the constitution. So I'm appealing to the government of the Republic of South Sudan as a leader of 6th state of New England, USA. Please give this man a chance to get a treatment. You don't have to release him from the prison, but take him to court so he will be treated. And when he's healthy, he will go to court and he will be tried. And if he's guilty, that will be up to the the laws, and the crime he has committed. But keeping him while he's sick is not good. It's not good for the government. So I'm calling the government to give this guy a chance for treatment, because you never know, because now the hell I see, he was very sick. If something happened to him, it will be an embarrassment to South Sudan government, because you cannot refuse to give a sick inmate to be treated. Is it good? So that Mandela Sal Daily Akumra in Sudan. Number 2, if you will link with the Kalamitan as Abel Mori, there's something different. I'm not going to talk about that, but I'm calling for his a chance to get treatment within the government facilities. Yes.
I really appreciate you for coming on. You have a criminal justice background. Kwel, the government call him a suspect. What crime has he committed? And Constitution that Sudan for court within 24 hours.
Well,
I want your take on that.
Yeah, Jonkor, with that, I'm gonna reserve on that because I cannot have two ways. I cannot say, I want is released to get treatment, and then I'm gonna talk about what crime is committed. That night will take us to a different stage. So I'm not gonna respond to that. I will leave but we need his immediate release to the facility of treatment within South Sudan, facilities. The government under government supervision. That is all I am. So when he's sick, you don't want to keep a sick person, even though he has killed. Even though he's a killer. In America, if you are a killer, you sick, you will get treatment, and then before you will be returned to court. The government has facilities for treatment, but when you refuse to give a sick person, to be treated, that actually inhumane. Is cruelty. So there's no cruelty in justice. So, but what the crime you committed? Well, no, that's not my thing here because I cannot. Speak two language. I'm speaking as a community leader, and I want his immediate opportunity to be given a chance to be treated, and the rest can come later. So this is a brother Buguluk Shuk in New Zealand. I'm not going to prolong here. I'm taking care of my daughter. So I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
The rest of the question we will talk next time, but we want him now to be treated because the guy is sick and he cannot be allowed to die in prison. It will embarrass the government and it will be go against our constitution. So with this, I will say, may God the Creator bless the Republic of South Sudan and peace be to all. Thank you. I will exit and I will listen from down there.
Thank you, Agwet, for coming and adding your perspective. And with that, I think I will welcome my dear two brothers. Morris, welcome you back. And I welcome Usaz Anthony Anay, well back, activist. Let me go for Usaz Anthony Anay, Morris, and to hear from him. Anthony, I want to give you an opportunity to weigh in as well. Fadal.
Thank you, Brother Jonkor, and I thank all your viewers and my brother Maurice for tuning in. Do you guys hear me?
Yes, very well, very well.
Yes.
I have really, Jonkor, appreciate you guys, and not only today, but every time you come on the show, you take the basic issues that we as Sudanese need to talk about. Given whatever circumstance it is, whether you are blaming government, you are for government, it is our God's right to speak our mind in a civil way. And I really appreciate our brother Mayan for tuning in also from Juba and give us his side or his take on what do you think about, Kwelagwe. Jonkor, the very first time that Quill was arrested, I think we had a show. By the way, as your viewers and you have seen it, I'm an activist. And I do come on Nomlao show, when there are issues pertaining northern Barakazali state. So during Kwelagwe arrest, we were actually having the issue of 14 March. And before the opening of our, the topic of that day, I have condemned his arrest. Okay? And I have said it very clear, and I need your viewers and those who are going to hear this to pay better attention, or attention to my message.
Go ahead.
For you to be a supporter of any opposition does not prevent you to say anything that you see is wrong. It is your God-given right. And I'm saying this to my SPLM supporters. And I do blame all the SPLM members. That's the reason why our country is in mess. We are part, in this mess. Why? There are a lot of mistakes that are going on. And instead for us to stand up and say to the system or to the leadership that what you guys are doing is wrong, we always clap for the wrongdoing. And to me, I don't think we are doing good things for the party. We are tearing the party apart. Jonkor, as I'm speaking tonight, you see the supporters of the SPLM, the support there is at all, it has decreased to 40% or 20%. Why? Because we are supporting wrongdoing. And that one is not going to take party anywhere. We are killing the party indirectly, and we don't know that. Okay? So my message to all SPLM supporters, please, it is not too late for us to rescue our party. We need to stand up and start pointing out the wrongdoing within the system. This system of intimidation, knowing that what you are doing is right, it needs to be criticized, and it has to stop. I have joined SPLM, SPLA when I was a child. Up to now, I'm still there.
You are right.
But there is nothing will prevent me from speaking the truth. I have been called by my colleagues, people that have worked with me, thousands of miles to Ethiopia, on foot, okay, that I do not belong to SPLM because I do speak my mind. I told them you are wrong. Okay, I'm human being. I know what is right and what is wrong. So that was my small message to my colleagues in the SPLM. And if we continue going the way we are going now, believe me, and I've told few people, you know, John Code, before I forget, there's something I need to say. 5 years ago, by the way, I live in the state of North Carolina. I was a chapter leader here. And there was a conference that took place, okay, where I live. I was the one who organized the chapter and everything. And during that time, what happened, I told all the SPLM leaders, including those who were sent in South Sudan, that the way you guys are conducting this conference is not the right way. And nobody has listened to me. It was only me and one of my colleagues, one of my colleagues, Mangal, Angelo Mangal is in DC. Okay? But the rest did not listen to us. As I'm speaking now, SPLM is not the same again, Duncan, and I've told them. From tonight onward, SPLM will not be the same again in the United States. And it has happened. Now my message is this. It's not too late for us to rescue the party. We need to stand by the truth. If I say what so and so and is not constitutionally right, it does not disqualify me, or it does not mean that I do not like that person. No. Okay? I'm against the system. I need the right system to be in South Sudan. That's why I rebel against Khartoum government. And I will say that until I die. That's me, Anthony. Okay, going back to the issue of Yonko, I have said it before, and I will say it again. According to me, okay, because most of the constitutions, okay, that are existing worldwide, they are pretty much equal to the United States Constitution. And there is nothing wrong with the citizen calling for uprising. Okay, and I have said it in Nomla media show that the government should even use that message Bolagur and his colleagues brought out and improve themselves. Okay, they have spoken about good things. If the military salary is the problem, increase the military salaries. Okay, and that will boost your support. Okay, if there is no clean water, find a way to bring clean water to the citizen. Okay, and by doing that, you will not this uprising out without even jailing anybody. Okay, that's what I have said months ago. Now, how we speak, Kwelabur is still in jail and is in very bad condition. We have all seen this state is in. It needs immediate.
You are breaking up so bad, Anthony.
And as human beings, somebody somewhere should sympathize. Okay? Somebody should sympathize with this situation. Okay? A criminal, leave alone Kwelabur. Okay? Here in the United States, if somebody robbed the bank or killed the people, and he got shot, he will get taken to the hospital to be treated. And then after his treatment, he will be taken back to the jail or to the court. Okay? Why do we do things that are not, right? all the time. And people like Brother Mayen and the rest of the SPLM, colleagues, do click on things that are not right. Okay? Assume that it was you who was put in jail and you become sick. Is it not your God-given right for you to be treated or people to sympathize with you? Now I will go back to the point you mentioned before I give anybody a chance to weigh in on your show about the community. And Charles then, I believe, has weighed in on that issue again, and Abdallah. John, you know me, I do speak with you sometimes. And all these problems.
Anthony, your voice is cutting off so bad we cannot hear you.
Those are the witnesses.
I think he has issues.
Yes, with the mic.
Yeah, we cannot hear you at all. Yeah.
You need to adjust your mic.
Okay, I may go out and come back again.
Okay, no problem. Ustaz Morris, go ahead and send your final message so I can let you go here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brother Jonkor, for hosting me today to be part of this discussion. I'm not going to talk much because I was just putting across the issue of Kabret Kwel Agwarkwel to be released for his medical services, but I was not prepared. I think as I connected with you, I will be prepared tomorrow to comment on the current political situation in the country, but now I don't want to mess up everything. I was actually waiting for my brother Gabriel Mann to hear from him. Maybe the guy is very young. He's an undergraduate, he's a student doing a diploma studies in the University of Juba currently. He's still under study, and he's calling himself the SPLM senior party activist. Something beyond his capacity. And in fact, he knows nothing about that. Myself personally, as I speak here,
we cannot undermine him if he has knowledge about what he's talking about. That's why I asked him a question, but it seemed like not to understand the question.
Maybe he's
able to answer the question.
Maybe he doesn't, and that is why he disappeared.
On network, I think you cut him out because he wrote down here, "I'm going to be back." Maybe he ran out of
of ideas.
Uploaded and something like that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Completely, it will not go with what it will come across. In fact, I think Comrade Mayan is not aware. Even myself, I'm a SPLM member, a member of the State Liberation Council since from 2008, when the SPLM convention were conducted at the state level to the national level. And up to now, I'm still a legal member of the SPLM because I have the ID card, I have the membership book, I have the constitution of the SPLM, and I taught since 1996 up to present time. I'm a teacher by training, and I'm a graduate also with a bachelor degree for international relations and diplomatic studies. This is what Brother Mayan do not know. When we are pointing out the wrong our party is doing, does not mean that we are against the party. But we want things to be done in accordance with the law. You see, our party constitution is one of the best constitution in the world. You see, why I'm saying that all the principles that are written in the constitution of the SPLM are the principles which are related to human rights that we are talking about, are the principles which are related to good governance, there are principles which are related to equality of the people. You see, and what we are discussing currently is something related to the liberty and humanity of Kwel Agwarkwel as the citizen, as the liberator, as the academician in the country.
As a citizen.
So, as the citizen at the same time, for Kir Mayardit and his government official, nobody is against them. Kir Mayadi, by the way, is a good leader. Nobody is against him. Nobody is against Akol Korkur. Nobody is against Tut Gatluak. But we are against the principle, the way they are doing things in the country.
Yes.
We are against the way they are doing things. And that is why we are advocating that, Your Excellency, we need your government to go into such a way that is acceptable by your people. You see? And all these things is that the constitution has been sidelined, meaning that totally it is being violated. And that is why the country is going into a mess. All these things I'm going to cover them tomorrow in my presentation if you can give me time. So my today intervention is to put my voice forward so that the president should allow Honorable Kwera Gwerkwel to the family so that they can treat him. And there are other things may be followed later on. We are not pressure them to release Kwela Gwerkwel or to leave Kwela Gwerkwel without being presented in the court of law. I'm interested to see Comrade Kwela Gwerkwel is healthy and well, and I wanted him to be presented in the court of law. And I know that there is no court of law in Juba because Justice Chanraj Madut is doing nothing for the last 16 years. He's sleeping. There is no law in South Sudan. This is what I know, and that is why people are being detained for a long time in the prison. It is because there is no justice in Juba. The rest of the judges which are there are just the remnant who have just been accommodated there in the name of the Ministry of Justice, and there is no law completely.
Well, Ustaz Morris, I really, really appreciate you for coming on and airing your perspective. You're making a lot of sense. Thank you for elaboration. And yes, when we have another program, we may have you on the program so you can air more your views. Thank you. I really, really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Good night and sweet dreams.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
So with that, I would like to say to viewers of Concerned Citizen of South Sudan, as I said this from the beginning, Kwela Gwerkwel did not violate the constitution of the country. Kwela Gwerkwel is not a criminal. He's simply expressing his right on the constitution, that every citizen has a right to express, right of assembling, right of expression, and right of all this in Article 24 of the Constitution of South Sudan, 2011, amended in 2016. So, and that's why I'm asking, what crime has he committed? And also, if he's a suspect, why the authorities are not bringing him to the court of law within 24 hours, as indicated in the Constitution? Why? Why? Do you know why? Because we have a dictator, we have autocratic, we have authoritarian, a guy that if you say anything good for your country, and then you are the enemy. And that's why people of South Sudan need to wake up. It has been using political deception for a very long time, 16 years. 16 years with no road, 16 years with no hospital, 16 years with no security in the country, 16 years with no infrastructure, 16 years of creating communal violence so Apuk and Agua can fight, so he can survive. Nuer and the Dinga can fight in the unity state. Okay, Murle and the Dinga, they can fight in Jungale, and Central Equatoria can fight. And now they created another communal violence within the Zande and the Balanda. This is Salva Kiir that we know. As long as he's there, we will never see the light at the end of the tunnel. And we said it numerous times. That's why he need to be removed. That's why he need to be deposed. Those of Jay Shabbat, they need to wake up. We are asking them to put their voices together with the voice of people of South Sudan, so you can receive your salary. You can receive your Medicaid. When you go to hospital, there will be, a medical for you. Your child can go to school. You can drink a clean water. We can have a South Sudan that is economic zone. That's what we are asking for. And it will not happen if Kiir is still in charge, because you have had enough. He's a mystery guy. He's a mystery guy. 16 years, South Sudan have seen only violence. Only violence, crisis, war, and continue. And we have to prove this. We have proven over and over again. This is what he has been capable of doing. As when I could say that we are mentally incapacitated. So we have no way of moving this country to the next level. And when you see people that are talented, they wanted to do something for their country, those are the target of President Salva Kiir. Kwelagur must be released. He has not committed any crime. He has a right for medical treatment. This is the basic human rights. These are the basic human rights. He hasn't done anything wrong. He has right to express himself under the Constitution of South Sudan. Okay? And I send a strong message to the community leader, because we cannot be happy with someone when he's there. But when something harm happening to him, and then we start, falling apart or running away from that. That's not, a spirit of solidarity. If we are really caring to one another, should stop, because this is not who we are as the people of South Sudan. But thing has changed, because Kiir is buying people, and this is what I've seen, even with my own community. I haven't seen anyone that talk. I haven't heard anyone that saying anything in Juba within. And Kwelagur, he was a governor yesterday. He was a governor of Northern Barkazal. He's the same person that he used to go and talk and help. He's the person that in prison now. The only option is Kiir to be removed, if we want South Sudan to move forward. And people of South Sudan need to understand this. If something happened to Kwelagur, which is likely because he's a diabetic, he has high blood pressure, he has a lot of complication in health. If something happened to him, that's Salva Kiir, and that's his plan, actually, as I said from the beginning, because he's intended to kill him. He's intended to kill him through this medical need, because he knows that actually he needs medical attention, and that's why he's denying him. Just keep him there until he dies. So he can use this as a fear monger to others who are speaking, who are activists. This is the tactic he has been using in the country for a very long time. So we need to wake up. Wake up. Our only option. War has been tried. Negotiation has been tried. All this kind of sort of option have been exhausted, and nothing has worked. So our only option in this country is an uprising, the voice of the people. That's the only solution. Spread this word. Kwelagur must be released. He has to get the medical attention to avoid, all this atrocity to his family. I really will thank you for tuning in and being part of Concerned Citizen tonight. Thank you for watching, and let's continue. This government must go, and it must go now. South Sudan cannot afford any authoritarian regime for years or months to come. Thank you, and have a lovely night.
Say Shara Africa, say it louder. Say Shara. Salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam alaikum.